pop quiz you have to choose.
Okay.
Hair or air?
What do
You can either keep your hair on the top of your head or keep the air conditioning you have for your family.
Okay. Like
Hair or
forever?
air? Forever.
Okay. I'm taking air.
I knew you would. I knew you would take the air.
But I look really bad bald though. Like I look like King Kong Bundy's son. I've done it. I shaved my head one time for a radio bit, and I look disgusting. So maybe I'll take the hair because it's not that bad. My family needs to toughen up. Anyway, American Air and Heat.
Speaking of family-friendly service, that's American Air and Heat.
Yeah. Most likely you have an old AC unit that's 20 years old or older, and it's inefficient.
Or, maybe you don't live your life like me and Tom do, but we got old stuff.
Yeah. You're paying a huge electric bill each month because your unit is working too hard.
It's not efficient.
Never turns off. You have all the duct work in your house is from 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You have one return. Like when American Air and Heat came in and I got a brand new system, they also designed all my duct work. I have a return in each room now, so it's more efficient.
Very quiet.
It makes sense. Like the other side of my house, I got one return in my living room, and all the bedrooms had nothing. So the heat was just trapped in there. And it, like my kids' rooms are always hot, so now it returned in every room, and it efficiently cools my house. My energy bill went down.
Yeah, and I know you're not doing that preventative maintenance. None of us were. Like changing your filter or checking your drip pan, putting a little bit of vinegar in there to make sure it doesn't gunk up or you get any algae. None of you guys are doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So
have them at least do it once a year.
Have them come out and at least tell you what you're up against. I actually enjoy this now, where they come out and they go, "This is the unit we put in. Thank you, been taking good care of." It's kind of like your teeth, right? It's like you go to the dentist and they're like, "Hey, you've been doing a good job flossing." It's the same thing. You take care of your stuff with American Air and Heat. Get that preventative maintenance. They'll take care of you.
Yeah. So whether it's a problem with your current AC unit, preventative maintenance, or you want a quote on a brand new unit, which they can finance, by the way,
sir.
It's AmericanAirandHeat.com.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So what happened with Liquid Death?
Yeah, so I'm drinking a Liquid Death. That's what reminded me of this. And because I buy a decent amount of Liquid Death, I wouldn't say it's my favorite sparkling water. It's certainly not my favorite sparkling water. I think if you listen to this program, you know that Topo Chico is the top dog sparkling water, followed very closely by Richard's Rainwater Sparkling.
Have you seen the White Claws coming out with White Claw Zero?
I did see that,
I saw that from August.
Is it just like what? Is it
basically? I think it's just sparkling water. Yeah. It's just flavored with the same White Claw flavors, but it's just
alcohol.
Zero alcohol.
All right. I don't need that, but I think it's a cool idea. Because you could go, tit for tat. If I did a lime that's full fat and then I did a lime that's got nothing in it, that's kind of a nice way to budget your drinks.
Well, what I like to do is I take that Zero White Claw and then I pour it on some ice and I put one shot of vodka in it.
Hey.
They just drink the White Claw.
No.
They also make White Claw with vodka now.
No, he's a traditionalist. He likes to mix it up. This is different.
Totally different.
What else were we going to say? Oh, I'm talking about Liquid Death. Okay, so Liquid Death, I get this email from Liquid Death, and they're like, "Hey, we have to change the name of one of our iced teas." They have this one iced tea. Well, they have a bunch of them. You can go check out the website, Sam, and get the other names. I think there's one called Severed Lime instead of Severed Limb.
Okay.
So there's Severed Lime. There's like something
Mango chainsaw,
and then the other one was
Bury It Alive,
and then there was one for one of their teas was called an Armless Palmer.
Dead Billionaire, aka Armless Palmer.
Yeah, well, they had the reason it's called aka Dead Billionaire is because apparently they started getting sued by Arnold Palmer.
That's BS. It says armless.
Yeah, Armless Palmer, but they got a cease and desist, and or. So this is why I'm bringing it up. Or they're so good at marketing Liquid Death that nothing happened, and they're like, let's just change the name. Right. It's not selling. So change the name to Dead Billionaire to convince people that the family of Arnold Palmer was mad at us and started, putting some heat on us, and we'll sell more of this product that's not even really good. You see what I'm saying? Like, something happened there. I just found it to be very interesting that the name of the drink was an Armless Palmer. Now, if you don't know what an Arnold Palmer is, I believe it's half lemonade, half iced tea.
Yeah.
But this was made to taste like that, right? Half lemonade, half iced tea. It was just like a little bit of agave nectar, sparkling water. It's the non-alcohol version made by the company Liquid Death. Well, then they called it Armless Palmer, and then now they're saying, nope, we can't call it that. We're changing it, and you're going to see this rolled out over the next year. It's now called Dead Billionaire. Far more that is way more disrespectful than Armless Palmer.
How did Arnold Palmer die again?
Is it not just old age?
Are you guessing that maybe his arms were chopped off and that it's just super disrespectful?
I
don't know.
Armless Palmer. It was
Cardiovascular disease.
Okay, that makes sense. I think he was an older dude, right?
87.
Yeah, so he just died of a standard heart attack or heart problem.
He died
old age.
while waiting for heart surgery.
Oh.
And so,
like in a line in queue?
I think he was at the hospital. It says.
So really,
You'd think he'd be able to get that done
fast,
quicker than anybody else.
He's
right?
a legend. That guy's legendary.
So Armless
Jack Nicklaus
Palmer
and Arnold Palmer are like the two guys.
Is that really disrespectful at all? Really, Dead Billionaire.
So you're going to guess
more
that this is fake?
Well, they could have gotten a cease and desist, but those things don't really mean anything.
They do allude
they
to...
just send them out to everybody.
If you go to the website and see what they say about it in the original email, they basically say, we're changing it because we don't want to shell out the millions of dollars it would take to fight this. Which I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, that sounds like BS because
also makes
you can call something Armless Palmer. Maybe Palmer is they can get them because it's too close, but I don't know.
I'm look, and I like the brand. It's not my favorite brand, but I like the brand. I think it was all fabricated. I think they're those guys. They're so good at marketing. I mean, guys, they're only selling water, and they're everywhere. I mean, you have podcasts begging to be sponsored by them.
Yeah. They don't do any regular marketing.
No.
Except for they do TV ad. Then they did a Super Bowl ad this year.
They do the thing I like to do, which is they waste money just to get people talking about it. Oh, did you see Liquid Death? They bought it a minute, and it was just a blank screen of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
They do dumb stuff like that. Then people are like, they're wasting money. They're edgy. They're young and fun.
The drink business is...
We to get in the drink business.
A business that is lucrative.
You can't do a local drink business, though, can you?
No. You have to have a brand.
Like Prime.
Yes, yeah.
Vitamin water.
If you have enough listeners or enough viewers or your brand's big enough, you can get some sort of whatever drink, put some drink together, and then you get into the drink business where it gets distributed to every single, gas station across the United States, and then we're talking billions of dollars of revenue. And these are, it's how 50 Cent got so rich off of vitamin water and I'm sure the Paul brothers are making the money off Prime and just the drink business is $1 billion business. It's just so easy, I guess, and the distribution is already set up. So once you get into that, then it's just it's
but I
easy
think
to make.
People are tricked more than we think they are. I think a lot of people think that the proprietary ingredients in a Gatorade to Powerade to Prime are all different.
Oh, no, the ingredients doesn't matter. It's all marketing.
Yeah, it's all marketing. All of it's sugar water or all of it's garbage.
Yeah, or it's just the label, look what Liquid Death did. It's just the marketing in the can and the fact that it's in the can and, the marketing behind it. It has nothing to do really with the quality of the water, which it is good, but it would be hard for me to believe that a lot of people, if you poured some Liquid Death and then some other sparkling water or whatever, Liquid Death is still water. It's not even sparkling.
No,
right?
this is sparkling.
They have both.
Yeah. They have both. Yeah, but
this one's sparkling. I'm fancy. I like the sparkling.
I like the sparkling too.
If you had another non-flavored sparkling water, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference if it was a blind taste test.
I can tell the difference. If you give me Topo Chico, you give me Liquid Death, I can definitely tell.
Some are stronger than the other.
I'll give you 5. Could you tell the difference of 5?
Not each one, but there are only 2 I definitely know. I can tell you Richard Sparkling Rainwater, and I can tell you Topo Chico. Those are the only 2 I can tell you because they have distinct tastes. Richard's is super carbonated, tiny bubbles, and really smooth. Topo Chico blasts your face. It's like boosh, nothing but carbonation for days.
Are you sure?
I think I am sure.
Or is it just your mind and the marketing of it?
No, I think
influencing it.
No, I know Topo Chico has more carbonation. It's branded as that. Like they say, they say like this is the fizziest one on the market. And it's kind of their thing.
Is that true, though?
Oh, you can tell, yeah.
Okay.
Like, it'll stay fizzy for days.
Taste test on the show.
It'll be fizzy for days. Let's do it. Like, I may fail, but I don't think so. I know Topo Chico, that's the easiest one. Richards is a little bit harder, and then all the rest of them, I can't tell. Like, flavored waters, LaCroix, Kroger, Publix, it's all the same.
If you fail, will you let me hit you with a pie in the face like Bill Gates that time? I saw that on TikTok.
I will let you hit me. Yeah.
You ever seen the time Bill Gates got hit with a pie?
I have not.
No, but I want to see
By
it.
who?
Just some crazy person that hated him or whatever. Like,
it was okay.
That happens every once in a while, where like it'll be like a protester.
Who was it? Like the Kardashians got like flour thrown on them. Wasn't that? There was like a thing where a guy was throwing flour on people. For a while.
This is
Remember
a TikTok thing.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. But I think.
How do you find this much time to watch TikTok?
Dude, you know how many videos I can scroll through?
No, but
right before I go to sleep.
Hear them?
Huh?
Do you have the audio on?
No audio.
No audio.
Yeah, my God, no audio. TikTok is hard.
I just scroll like I can consume like 60 videos in a 5 minutes or whatever.
Oh, look at him. Okay, here he is.
Security guards in Belgium were caught flat-footed today by a cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when a team of hitmen meet him first with a pie in the face.
Hit him hard, too.
Oh, yeah, they knocked his glasses off, nerd. Oh, man.
Also, would you describe it as a team of hitmen?
If I were Dan Rather, I might go, a team of hitmen.
Was it just like a crazy protester with a pie?
You added that because you didn't think it was news, Dan Rather. So you added the team of hitmen, right?
Well, this is before Dan Rather's old school news, before news turned ridiculous.
I mean, he was like my generation's Edward R. Murrow, right? I mean, he's the guy.
Yeah. Back when news
we don't have news anymore, dude.
No.
There's no such thing anymore.
No.
I'm news. I'm as good as Rather now.
No, you just see whatever's on your phone. You don't know if it's real. You just believe it. It's the easiest way. There's no reason to check if it's real.
Yeah.
You just see it. You're like, oh, okay, that's happening.
I believe it.
Anyway, so let's do some voicemail.
All right, buddy. Voicemail messages that you can leave. Get our app. If you don't already have it, all of our content's on there. It's super duper nice to have it all in one place. And our buddy Matthew, who put it together, he's such a nice guy. He actually been emailing him back and forth. He's going to be at our BDM Christmas party. And for BDMs that are there, you can actually walk up to him. He'll have his computer, and he will. You can show him what's wrong with the app, and then he said on the spot he'll code fix it.
This is ridiculous.
And I told him,
give the man the night off.
I said you don't have to do that. And he's like, oh yeah, I like doing it. It's just something.
He likes it, Sam.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is. people are socially awkward. I wish I had to do this, where you just give me a job, and then if the problem is I can't fix anything on the internet, so I couldn't do that. But it allows him, instead of he's like has to small talk around, like he has a job that night, and then I think that's what makes him happy in this Christmas season is working.
I mean, it does mean there is a part of that. Like, there's a part of like, if I'm really upset or something's bothering me, I mean, like, organizing things does kind of calm me down. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's something good about it. All right.
I did tell him, I was like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I did too, but he says he wants to do it. Hilton Head BDM calling in right here.
Hey guys, Hilton Head BDM. Dan, this is just for you. A couple months ago, I called and I discussed the issue of certain toilet papers being so big and soft. Wiping yourself with a duvet cover.
It's too thick. The toilet paper that Tom brought from his house is so expensive and so luxurious, and so it's like triple ply quilted. Like two squares.
It's not
of it
that
when
much
you're
more
holding
expensive.
It. 2 squares when you're holding it. It feels like you're holding a quarter-pound hamburger. The thing is so big.
This is what
It's getting out of hand.
It's too thick, dude. The rolls are too thick. The
They're
weaving
getting like
is too
triple
thick.
layered now.
I need grit
Triple
down there.
roll.
I need to keep it because I've noticed that
too
since I
linty.
use that here, and I'm very regular, so there's a certain time once we're done with all our recordings where I will escape, and I will go and handle my business, and that is making me soft because I'm having problems now. At home, it's too rough. Here, it's too soft. So now I'm in flux. My colon is in flux now.
Just buy the soft stuff at home.
I like the medium stuff. The medium stuff has got the right amount of grip, and it's got the right amount of thickness. Like yours is too luxurious. That is it's like velvet. Thick, heavy
It is velvety, yeah.
It's like a
That's what you
king's
want.
robes. Have you? Okay. Without going too far, you're using it the most on all areas.
I don't like it.
Thank you.
How do you not like it? Too
Thank you.
soft?
It's too
It
much.
can't be too soft.
It's too much. It's
Nothing
heavy.
can be too soft.
It's thick. It's thick like velvet robes.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
put on like Ric Flair's robes?
Yes, I
too
have
thick.
too.
It's too thick.
Yeah.
No, no, that's what you want. You
No.
want a
When
thick,
you rip it off, it goes.
Yeah, and dust goes
Dust
everywhere. It's
everywhere.
like you're ripping through. It's like you're ripping through insulation. It's
Yes,
like wiping
exactly, 100%.
with insulation.
No.
It's so
Yeah.
thick and fibery. People are now listening to this and they're like, "Holy crap, Dan's right." They're realizing in their car right now. They're like, "Oh my god, this guy's right."
the most expensive. Well,
Most expensive.
hold on, this is
2 chains.
No, you
Go
tell me I'm
look
buying
in there
it.
and look how much toilet paper dust there is on
I know it's everywhere, dude. When you
Yeah.
pull that, it goes. It's like LeBron's in there, poofing his hands. It's too
much.
thick. And normally I don't say this. I know that this is jarring to you. I know that normally I'm the best of everything and spend the money and don't do it
Yeah.
yourself. I know that. But a medium ply, 2 ply is just fine. 3 is too much, dude. And this is thick boy. Like there's air in that. That it's like bubble. It's like what are those things called?
That's what your butt wants.
I don't know. What my
I
butt
don't know about
I don't
that.
know what my butt wants.
Yeah, you don't want some sandpaper, thin.
No, there's gotta be a
jail
happy
paper.
medium.
It doesn't work. It's almost like you're almost, and this is insulting to you, but it's almost eking into aloe territory, dude. And you know how I feel about
Too
aloe
oily.
tissues and aloe toilet paper is disgusting. It makes everything greasy. You want a greasy bum?
But this is not the aloe. I agree
It
with the
feels
aloe.
like it though. It's
No.
thick and it's dusty and it's just too thick. Anyway, I don't like it.
As you guys have been buying the cheapo stuff,
We have.
and your spouses are, convincing you to buy the cheapo stuff because they're mentally ill cheap. And you've gotten too used to it, and then now like I said,
There's a happy medium because Butler used to buy the half ply. I think.
He wouldn't even
it wasn't
buy
even.
that. He wouldn't
He'd
even
bring
buy
that
that. He
from
would
home.
steal that from his wife's chiropractic office.
yeah.
Well, she should up her toilet paper game too. But
Well, she's a business. I'm not like when
We're
I go
a business.
when I go to the Volkswagen
think
dealer.
about about the comedians that come here and have to use that toilet
Well,
paper.
No, I'm giving them the best.
I don't like it.
I
It's
buy
too
the
much.
best that is available.
It's too much.
It's not too much.
It's too thick.
No, anybody that sees the best toilet paper is not going to be mad.
How do you get it on the roll? I don't even like. You have to roll off like 8 pieces before it will even function on the roll. Then what do you do with that? That's wasteful. Then
Yeah, it is
you
wasteful.
tuck it behind the roll and then write a little note saying, "I
This
didn't
is
touch
clean."
it. It's clean. It's clean. Didn't wash it."
No, you guys have been living like animals.
You need to talk to my
Using
wife.
The force
You
leaves.
need to talk to my wife.
Get some sensible angel soft.
That's what we use. Angel Sauce is 2 ply. It's quilted, but it's not over the top. It's not like what you're using is like Obsessed Garage level, Matt Mormon level.
Well, he knows it's the best.
I wonder what toilet paper Matt Mormon uses. I looked up the faucet that he's installing in Adam LZ's house today. Like, I guess he's putting together this like shower head, and I think the shower head was like $24,000. So I'm not kidding. I am not exaggerating. It's like a lifetime warranty shower head that's like $25,000 or like a whole.
Yeah,
piping.
he likes the best. He'll tell. I bet we should ask him what kind of toilet paper he uses.
I
but
know that sounds like a silly question, but does the Obsessed Garage OG model, does it go into every aspect of it? Like, does he go, this is the best Kleenex, this is the best toilet tissue, I wear the best underwear, my socks are the most comfortable and padded?
Oh, yeah. No, he's probably using some sort of European toilet paper that we've never heard of.
We will have Modern Plumbing in tomorrow to talk about it. So,
yes.
coming in.
They know.
Yeah. We'll ask
I
them
bet
what
they're
they
with
think
me.
the best toilet paper
I
is.
bet they're going to say that yours is these companies have gotten crazy. They do the 3-ply, 4-ply. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like the shaver blades. We don't need 5 blades in a row. We don't need 6 blades. I've proven this. You can get a better shave with one regular old school drug dealer razor blade. You just put it on the standard razor and shave your face.
Yeah, but that's a little different in the fact that I agree that the one blade does the same as the 5 blades, but that thick toilet paper feels better on your butt than the sandpaper.
It feels off-putting to me. It feels like I'm wearing my father's driving gloves. It's too much. They're too big. I feel like it's too big. I feel like I get the 2 squares and then I go back there and then I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm holding an entire like a microfiber blanket or something.
No, that's like a caveman using a fork.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were an animal using your hands before, and now you have to use a fork like the rest of our
I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying, but it's a mess. It's absolutely a mess. I can't use it. It's just not good. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Let's do some emails.
All right, Sam, emails it is.
Replacing holiday traditions. Feliz Navidad, Tom, Dan, Sam, and possible couch guests. My friend usually hosts an annual holiday Christmas Eve party, and I attended this holiday party for 12 plus years. This year, she might do the thinkable and stop hosting the party and instead have more quality time with her kids and grandkids. This makes me slightly bummed knowing a holiday tradition is coming to a close, but I'll be happy knowing that she'll be less stressed for the holiday season. Anyways, to my question, what are some holiday traditions that came and are to a close for you, and how quickly did or are you replacing it with another tradition? Hoping one day to replace turkey dinner traditions with barbecue or seafood.
That's a great question. Ties in perfectly, too, because you're making new ones. I like Miami Santa. I gave you crap about it, but I loved, and I was sorry to see it go away because I think the idea of it in the morning was really cool. The idea of
the meadow.
The meadow, and then your tree being outside, and then sitting outside like where it's maybe a little more crisp with a coffee with my family.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I was sorry to see that one kind of fade away because I thought the Christmas outside was cool.
It became
hard to do,
impossible,
right?
really, especially with the older kids. That was more of when the kids were, 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 or whatever they were. It's like easier to get away with that, and now it's like
like
Tommy's up before you are.
Man, he's like a little adult.
They'll wake up and then we realize that it's just so dewy. And
all the wrapping paper's getting wet.
Yeah, it's just all.
Yeah, it's just not ideal. Yeah, I get it.
And then not as enjoyable for everybody if it's just in the house and the kids get older. That was like some impromptu thing,
Yeah. I was sorry to see that one go, though, because I think it's kind of cool. There is something cool about the quintessential, and I think that's why I liked your tree being outside. I like coming down the stairs. There is something about living in a townhome where
Americana.
It is when you because we're on the 3rd floor and the tree's on the 2nd floor, so it's separate. Mm-hmm. So that distance does elevate it 15% better because you come down and everything's set up. So it's presented to you. That's why I liked the kids open the door, the tree's outside. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
It's a better presentation of the display. This has been a thing, too, where our sons, throughout their whole lives, and they do it barely at any time now, but would come to our bed in the middle of the night to sleep. So in the past, we just start them off in our bed in Christmas time because we're for sure they're going to wake up in the middle of the night and then blow the whole, first look right? Like there's always been a first look at Christmas.
It's important to parents. It is
where like you wait and then because I never understood like the parents, like the kid that like went down early and then without the parents and like sitting there waiting, snooping through
that was
like,
me.
and didn't get to like you didn't get to present like the Christmas to them in the like open the door or walk down the stairs and then you see all the presents and
Andrea goes a step further in that we will all be on the third floor and she'll go, okay, let me go down first to video you guys coming down.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like she'll go down and then have the camera as we come down so she can get. I mean, it's important, more important to moms and dads, but still important to dads. It is important.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's important, but it's important.
Well, it's the culmination of a lot of work and money, and then you want, it's like you want it to,
do you have an order that you do the presents in tradition wise?
No.
Do you let them choose or?
It's usually, and this is like in when I grew up, there was like one major. It was like the quintessential bicycle with a bow on it, or some sort of like one big thing.
The big present, yeah.
And then a series of other things. But the big present was already put together and like ready to go. It was charged or whatever.
Yeah.
So like never in the box where you had to wait, and it was like ready to go.
Ready to go. Yeah.
And that's important.
That's the Santa gift.
Yeah.
Traditionally,
and although,
oh man, half the Christmases we did, we had to put everything together.
Unbox
everything, put it together.
Last minute daddy. Yeah.
But
no, we got free church.
That's it. Yeah.
And this is more.
And we had to put all our stuff together.
Oh, that's the Brad Paisley. He's doing.
They didn't buy the batteries either, so you had to wait till they went to the store to get the batteries.
Batteries are expensive as hell.
Yeah,
that's the most expensive part. I'm trying to think if we. Again, I need to formulate more of these style traditions. I need more of these,
But you just have to wait till they organically happen and then look at that and be like, all right, we'll do that every year because that worked. And that's usually how traditions are formed.
Yeah.
Like, because there's lots of stuff that we've, I've tried and then it's just like, nah, that kind of landed flat.
Yeah.
And but then you find one thing and you're like, all right, let's replicate that every year.
Like I go in, one of ours, I guess that's silly, and I'd be interested to see what our listeners think. But we have to go in a circle, and it's just the way we've always done it. And we do it when Andrea's parents come there and they exchange gifts, and we do it with ourselves when we exchange gifts. It's not like a free-for-all. It's like Maisie will go and get all the gifts, and there's not going to be a lot for me and Andrea because we've already decided not to. But it's like she'll go and like all her gifts go in a pile, and all my gifts go in a pile, and all Andrea's gifts go in a pile.
And do you open them one by one, or she opens all hers first?
No, we go in a circle. So it's like Maisie will start, then Andrea will go.
But does she start with all of them?
No, she does one.
Okay.
It's a one, and you move on to the next person.
Yeah, like one.
Yeah. Then normally, and this always happens, and let me hear you dads, because this is going to happen. Dads always end up, we end first, because we don't get the most gifts. So, for me, I'll get, maybe 3 or 4 things, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm all out of gifts. So that'll be my cue to go get my coffee.
Yeah,
So now Maisie's continuing, so I'll go get my coffee, and then I'll come back, and I'll sit there, and then I'll get a garbage bag, and I'm on garbage bag and paper duty, right?
Yeah.
That's what Dad's
loading
doing.
it in the
and then
trash
Dad's
bag.
just stuffing it in there. I'm trying to get Dansby to quit eating all the bows, and he's, being bad.
Then I start looking around. I'm like, my God, it's too much.
Yeah, we don't even need this.
Consumerism and money waste.
I love how you start with opening the doors, and you want to see their faces because you have so much work and money, and then it's hot. Oh, it's all trash.
And then it's like,
I get disgusted by it. I'm like, so much plastic pieces.
Man, what a turnaround in a day.
Oh, yeah. And because then I look at all the presents. I'm like, this is going to, you're going to play with that once. That's going to end up in the playroom in a pile of other plastic Chinese garbage.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be, all this stuff is just a waste. We should be spending this money on experiences. That's what I'm start screaming that. Where's my flag?
It's got to be here somewhere.
So
that's pretty much my. We don't really have that many. I'm trying to think of any that have come and gone. I'll give you one that's kind of sad that's gone, is because it's sort of a pain in the butt. Is my mom and dad left me there, and it's antique at this point, and some of the pieces are retired, but it's a snow village.
Oh, yeah.
And I have it's
love a
from
snow
the,
village.
What is it, Department 56 or whatever the one. But there was one that they did that was officially licensed by Dickens, and that's the one I have. And they roll out new pieces every year, and they retire certain pieces. And I have tons of pieces of it because it was my dad's pride and joy. But man, those little pieces of porcelain are pains in the ass. They're in little styrofoam boxes, and then the boxes are carved for the piece.
Yeah.
So getting them out of the box takes like 10 minutes just to slide it out of a piece of styrofoam. Then you got to put the light in it. You got to pinch it and put the light in. Then you run all the cords, and you got to put down, like my dad would have like a million cotton balls everywhere.
Oh, my grandma had this.
Yes. It's very popular.
We got a couple, yeah.
Yeah, it's very popular. I'm not yucking on anybody's yum. Look, I love it.
It is annoying.
I can't. My dad collected so many pieces. He's got Scrooge. He's got all the ghosts. He's got the Cratchit house. He's got the graveyard where Scrooge goes and sees his own grave.
Where do you put
That's
this
awesome.
all? On the dining room
do
table?
You want it?
Sure.
I mean, look.
If you're not going to use it.
It's got the ice skating rink where the skaters go. It's got the carolers. I've got all, like I told you, all the ghosts. I've got the store where the goose is hanging. Where the kid gets in, the Scrooge goes, "Hey, go get the goose."
You've got to set it up every year.
Come on.
Your dad would have wanted it.
Oh, yeah.
He's
You have that giant dining room table.
That's where we used to put it, but
Yeah.
it's such a pain in the butt, man. It is such a pain in the butt.
Your dad would be yelling.
Yelling at me, Dad.
Leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Set it up.
Yeah,
You're lazy.
I am lazy, and it's some of the pieces. Like last year, I dropped one of them. I broke the hand off of the ghost of Christmas Future. Who's the one that's the fat guy with the torch? Who's dressed like
I think that's Future Fat.
Yes, I remembered it.
Past lean.
Yeah, I remember your name. Moly, Mexico. Yeah. But no, it's like I broke the hand off of one of them. I'm gluing it. It's super delicate. Maisie's always playing with it. Nah, man, I'm just like with everything else that I have that's meaningful for my childhood, I'm gonna sell it. Right?
The decorations, Crystal, we've got too many.
Oh, it's present, not future.
Oh,
Future is a Grim Reaper.
No. I forgot it.
Yeah.
Present's fat.
Yeah.
Future's Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I'm fat right now.
When you get fat, then you die.
What kind of Christmas tale is this?
The only one that's been
It's
around.
the truth.
We've got way too many ornaments. I don't know if you guys...
I like a lot of ornaments.
Because...
I like an ornamented tree. I don't like any bare or sparse areas. To me, that's what gives off a crappy tree.
Yeah, but it's too much. Like, there is a limit to how much... Like, I'm not joking. I'll take a picture of the tree.
Look at a department store tree. It's filled to literally not one branch without something hanging from it.
Yeah, but it's organized and...
Okay, well, that I can't. Okay, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
It's just like you poured a bunch of garbage on it just fell down the tree.
Okay.
And it's from the top.
Are they homemade? Because I do draw the line on I do not like homemade ornaments. They look like trash.
Oh, homemade. Crystal has so many. She's got an ornament for our wedding invitation that someone chopped up and then put inside.
Oh my God! That's just trash.
It's our chopped up wedding invitation inside a clear bulb, and then it's like confetti in there, but it's our original. Like
how do you know? How do you know it's really the?
And then
I don't think it's the wedding.
Also, why are you chopping up my invitation?
No, but someone made it for family member.
So weird.
We also
see what they're doing.
We got a Lena's paw, like a big
Well, that's not an ornament. That's supposed to go in a sock drawer or something for you to look at one day before you kill yourself.
No, it's turned into an ornament.
Well, that's your wife doing if you could hang a human head on a tree if you want to.
My mom, every year she gets this Van 2021, and then it's all the snowmen with our names on it, and then every year,
those.
but it's big and heavy.
Yeah, from Brookstone. They'll pull the whole tree over.
Yeah, she's got one every year, and then stop getting us. There's too many. They're not important anymore. We've got one from 2016,
I kind of agree with him, Sam.
And it's all and then
it's become a chore to hang them up because there's too many of them.
Then the kids each year, when they were in preschool and kindergarten, they made big construction paper ornaments.
I don't let Maisie hang those.
Crystal hangs them all.
No, I'm a heartless dad. I tell Maisie, I go, we're not hanging those up because they don't look nice.
Damn.
They don't present nice. They look like they were made by a child. And then she'll say they were made by me, and I go, I know they look like trash. We're not hanging those on the tree.
Yeah, and then
we have standards at this tree. This tree is supposed to look good. It's a celebration of Christmas.
I'm not joking. We've got between like 20 and 40 like handmade shell, like seashell ornaments
That's trash.
Because Crystal's grandma used to own a seashell store.
Oh man, the irony of her owning that, and then you knowing that somewhere down the line you're going to have to say what she does, and you're terrified.
My granddaughter, husband will
never say what I do. He's terrified of what I do.
And then so we've got a bunch of like sand dollar snowmen, and then like Rudolph.
The tradition. Well, you got a Jimmy Buffett trash tree? You got a Jimmy Buffett. Oh, conch shell Rudolph.
And they're it's all like pipe cleaner.
Conch shell Rudolph is coming to drink a Miller Lite. Conch shell Rudolph, he's got his bikini all tight.
And then I'm not joking. I'll show you a picture of the tree. I should tell Crystal to text me now.
I gotta see
because
this
it's too much. Because the regular bulbs.
You gotta purge some of them.
There's not even room for regular bulbs.
You don't have any regulars on there?
No, I started putting regulars, and then Crystal's like, we don't have
save the room for the trash.
Conch shell Rudolph has nowhere to live at. Then I have to take off the regular bulbs, and then it's a whole trash. There's ornaments.
No, you got to do what I did. You got a regular tree.
It's the size of a construction paper. It's this big, and it's just construction paper.
But that's not an ornament.
The boys made it. So
put it on the fridge.
No, you put that on the fridge or throw it away. Like we have an ornament tree that has the regular standards. Then we have an auxiliary tree to the right of it that is the homemade.
Oh, you have a second tree?
It's not really. It's not really homemade. I don't allow that. But it's more of like the what do I call them? Goofy, like where it's like a picture of us. Or and Maisie has one that's a piece of bacon because she loves bacon, or she has one that's a dancer.
The non-traditional,
whimsical ones that don't match anything go on the tiny tree, and then the big tree, I have it looking like we're at Macy's.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Because I like it to look nice in there. I don't like trash.
You don't like the full of trash?
No, I don't want a paw print of a dead dog. I don't want a piece of paper on there.
So many dead people's prints. The whole tree is dead
people prints.
It's also, and then to top the tree, my aunt
an old doll, some old rowdy doll, an old racist. What is it? An old racist?
No,
is it an old mammy? Like an old black mammy? I know in your house it's going to be something racist. It's Satchmo's face.
My aunt,
Willie Nelson's guitar.
Like when me and Crystal first got married, my aunt's like, I got you.
Give you this.
Your first ever tree topper. They call it a tree topper.
Yeah, it's an Adolf Hitler cookie jar.
That is what it's called.
And then it was in a hat box.
My mom had one of these. Its face is all porcelain cracked. It looked like the scariest angel.
And then it's
terrifying.
It's a foot and a half tall,
spooky doll,
a lady in this ornate red dress.
It looks like she's trapped in there. She's trying to get out to consume another body.
It looks like a scary ghost lady.
Yes, my mom had this.
Like an old ballroom ghost.
Yeah,
ballroom ghost.
Yeah, and then we have to, and the
electricity, and it's all janky, and there's you put that bulb in there that gets hot as hell. It's going to burn your house down,
dude. And then one year I just got a regular star, a light up star.
Mad.
No, then Crystal's like, what if your mom sees that you didn't put her sister's ornate, scary ghost lady on top?
You didn't put up the racist ghost.
And then I'm like, no one cares. Let's just put a star up there instead of this spooky ass ballroom dancer.
Where the porcelain's falling off.
Yeah, and it's all like the moths is eating it. 20 years we've been married.
You know what I found is that and I know we got to go to break. I found that I had my mom's like when she passed away. It was the first thing I sold because people wanted it. It was like an heirloom.
Yeah,
and people were like, "Oh yeah, I want that. I'll give you like $500 for it." Because it was like worth something. I was like, "Oh, take it. It's a piece of ass. Get it out of here. Take it out of here. I don't need it." Well, what am I going to get? Scary looking, right?
It is scary.
It is scary. It's better to go to somebody who collects scary angels. I got rid of it. It had a piece of aluminum foil behind it to keep the heat from burning the house down.
And what happened with the wings and a halo and just a white angel?
Yeah.
No. You know, I mean, white dress, not
Wow.
Bring white angels back.
Bring white whales back is what it sounded like you were going to say.
All right. We'll be back. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Let's do some weird job because I
Okay.
can't wait to get into this.
And I'm not going to embarrass our guests, so I'm going with the OG.
Let's do it.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday.
Still too long.
Oh, yes, it's
So long.
Weird Job Wednesday.
You need a moment
Weird
to
Job
feel.
Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by the Orlando Science Center and their paleontology party they're having this weekend, December 16th and 17th. And here to talk about that is Jimmy, a paleontologist.
Hey.
And also Jeff from the Orlando Science Center.
Hey, good to see you guys.
How you guys doing?
Oh, it's a fantastic day. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
appreciate-
Wednesday, and any day you get to talk about dinosaurs at length is always a good start.
All right,
Man,
so-
I love your energy.
Yeah, I know.
Dino, big dino energy, man.
And Jimmy, by the way, you can
Big
come
Dino
in
millionaire.
anytime you want because I love talking to you about
Yeah.
dinosaurs. So
Oh, I can't wait to make you regret that.
no, we're into it, man.
Theropod Thursday,
let's talk about
feeding Fridays.
a paleontologist. So the only thing I know about dinosaurs I learned from Jurassic Park. Just like everybody.
Yes,
around my
Barbasol
age.
can,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's all the secrets are in
Yeah.
the mosquito.
In
what
the
is it called?
amber.
The
Yeah.
amber.
Yeah, the
the
mosquito
amber
amber.
ball
Yeah.
that I make into a walking stick eventually.
Yeah.
You would think like
A walking
they
stick?
just let you make that into your novelty walking
Yeah,
stick.
yeah. What are you going to do with that? I'm making a walking stick.
So, what is a paleontologist to start with?
Fantastic. Paleontologist is anyone who studies ancient life. So you look at animals that used to live here, try to get an understanding of what the world used to be like, what was life like back then, what is life now, and where is life going from here on.
Is there a time limit? Like you're studying life from 30 years ago. It's not that like how long do you have to go back?
I mean, I study
like at least 100 years.
I study
totally.
the cast of Cheers every night. That's 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
you got to go back far, right?
Yeah, no, that's Cliffeontology, I think that what it is.
Yes, exactly.
So paleontology deals typically with creatures that lived a long time ago, and that's a good question as to where we actually draw that line for things. So typically you want creatures that are extinct and no longer really with us. If you're studying extant species, so things that are still around now, that's more in the form of a zoologist or a biologist. And there's a lot of intercollaboration between the groups because, people who study the things that are around now, we look at the way modern birds and animals move and how they interact with their environment. Those jobs that are out there in the world, the weird jobs of the animal kingdom, still existed 67 million years ago. So when we look at how animals lived today, we draw a lot of that toward how dinosaurs and other animals might have lived back then. So
Jimmy, let me run some facts by you that I tell my sons that I get from TikTok. I don't know if they're true or not, but I hear them on TikTok and then I remember them and then I tell my sons these things because I think they're science.
Sure.
I mean, good enough. Anyway, so
it's better than the things I naturally know that I can tell my daughter, right? That's the way I feel about it.
one fact is I tell my sons that I'm like, did you know that dinosaurs lived way longer than humans ever did, like millions of years longer, and like humans have only been around for hundreds of
We're the
thousands
new
of
guys,
years.
yeah.
We're new comparatively, like such a small time frame that we've been here.
What is their reaction to that?
They are like disinterested usually, unimpressed by that fact that I learned on TikTok. But is that true?
they turned off when they said Dad was on TikTok. I watch all my TikToks 2 weeks later on Instagram like an adult. So yeah, that's actually a fact. So dinosaurs lived for such a long time here on Earth. They had about 140 million year span that they actually were the masters of this planet, starting back the earliest of their period. So they lived in an area called the Mesozoic era, which means the middle time. There's the Paleozoic before that, which is the old time, and we're currently in the Cenozoic, which is the new time. And so during the Mesozoic, that ran from the Triassic period to the Jurassic period and then to the Cretaceous. Triassic is when dinosaurs were all in like their beta mode. They all kind of looked the same. They had long necks, long tails, long arms. Some of them ate plants. Some of them ate each other.
The classics.
They were just trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And in the Jurassic, that's when they really started to get huge. So now you've got things like your Apatosaurus and your Allosaurus, the Stegosaurus with the big plates down its back. A lot of the ones that kids really know are out of the Jurassic period. And then we get into the Cretaceous. Now this is when the world is starting to get really crazy too. Flowers appear for the first time.
The flower for the first time?
Yeah.
How come that you're the first paleontologist or person that loves this type of science that has ever told me any of this in a very simple... Like, that was only 30 seconds, but you're telling me new stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I didn't know that.
And you're not grumpy like the Jurassic Park.
Yeah, you're not grumpy at all. In fact, you're the opposite of grumpy.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid because, like, I want to be grumpy when I grow up just like that guy.
Was the old guy a paleontologist, or did he just have the money?
No, the young grumpy guy that ends up taking the kids on the adventure.
Gotcha.
He's
Yeah.
grumpy. And then he carries around a raptor claw, and he scares the kids with it. And I was like, I want to do that one day. Scare the kids with a raptor
around
claw.
this one.
And then you're grumpy.
Oh, my God, he's got one.
Yeah. So this is actually a cast of the Velociraptor claw that was used in Jurassic Park. So this is actually from Stan Winston Studios.
No
And so,
way.
yeah, totally, this is it.
Can I see it?
Sure.
Oh, my God.
That's it.
So there's
That is a lot bigger and more scary than I would have imagined.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm imagining that just... Where would this be on the body?
So that would be, so on the
this,
movie
like
Velociraptor, that is the innermost toe. That's the big toe on the inside, and they would have a pair of those. Now, the real Velociraptor was actually super teeny tiny.
Yeah, they're little guys, right?
They're really little guys.
Check that out.
Well, Jimmy, that's what I was going to ask you
Yeah.
of what some of the misinformation that we know from
Jurassic
movies
Park.
from Jurassic Park. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to not wear a shirt and put that on a necklace. Dude, I would
want
respect
to.
Like
you.
the guy from
I want to.
Jackass.
I would respect you if you did that.
I have to spray paint it gold, though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll help you. I'll get some leather.
Okay, well, one of the things I like to get a lot of the misconceptions out of the way is by asking a question back to you guys. So this is for all three of us.
Oh, you
and
want
four
to
of
see
us
how
in the room.
dumb we are?
No. Question I ask of everybody I meet. What is your favorite dinosaur?
You mentioned it already. Stegosaurus.
Nice. Excellent choice.
I like the one that goes that has the big sort of that it shoots.
Yeah.
It's a booger ball like Newman.
That's the Gunga Galunga. I don't know.
Yeah, and then it makes us crazy. and then it goes booger balls into the acid.
Yeah.
Booger ball dinosaur.
right in Newman's face.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he's like,
Fun.
You like the Newman Booger Ball.
Yeah. What's that one called?
That one's called Dilophosaurus.
All right.
And that is an excellent example of a misconception we've been dealing with the last 30 years.
That was my favorite one.
Do they at least have a booger ball?
No, so the reason that paleontologists are, first off, every major paleontologist working today owes a lot of their passion to Jurassic Park. Because that movie came out, and, I was a kid. I saw the movie in the theaters. A lot of the paleos that I know who are publishing papers this week also saw this movie. They defined their lives around it because it showed us a world where the dinosaurs were real. It made the science approachable.
Yeah.
And so people are like, wow, I want to do that. And when you get out and do it, that's when you find the things that people didn't otherwise know. So Dilophosaurus was awesome in Jurassic Park, but they did it so dirty because it was a much bigger animal. It was an apex predator of its particular slice of the Jurassic where it lived. Dilophosaurus lived in two places in the United States. One, it lived in Connecticut. And the other one, and it also lived in Nevada and Arizona and New Mexico.
Oh, a lot of turquoise.
Yeah.
Right?
Just beads everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of like Navajo stuff. Well, but like the blankets.
Yeah.
Love
They
the
live in their lair of a shiny fifth wheel on top of a pueblo.
Yeah, satellite dish.
Exactly.
Is that an effect where they wrote the movie where this thing was in the truck with Newman and then shot him with the booger ball, and then so they're just like, we'll just make it smaller to to fit in the trunk. But
But isn't
how
that
big
lazy?
are...
Like, aren't there dinosaurs that they could have put in there? Like, you know enough to be on site, and then if I'm like, why wouldn't I just come to him and say, hey, I need a little dinosaur that could hurt Newman in the truck. Give me something that's plausible.
No, totally. So in the book that Michael Crichton wrote, he included Dilophosaurus, and Dilophosaurus was the animal. And in the book of Jurassic Park is mind blowing. It's so gory. The death of Nedry Newman in that one is so much more visceral than what you see in the movie. But they also have Dilophosaurus like grabs him by the head and picks him up off the ground because it's the 11-foot tall apex predator that it truly was.
That's way better.
Yeah, right.
So the real Dilophosaurus
was to
is
save
over
money.
11 feet tall.
Yeah.
And does it shoot a booger ball?
It does not. That we know.
Oh,
So
the fallacy of the booger ball.
no, it's okay.
We have to
That's the
shut
only
the show down now. Like you're
He's gonna go home so
this
sad
is like
today.
This is like a Santa Claus moment. I'm just
hold
going
on.
to say that. That's all I'm going to say.
Do 80 dinosaurs shoot booger balls?
Look, the parents put all the booger balls under the tree. No.
You're ruining my dreams, Jimmy.
No. But see, the thing is, in the story, in Jurassic Park, they talk about how they didn't know what the DNA was going to turn out. Like, they knew they put a sequence together, we're going to make something, and we're not sure how it's going to turn out. So they would just kind of grow things. And before they got to the frog DNA, they were mixing a whole bunch of stuff. So you have real animals like the frilled lizard, which also lives in the desert area where Dilophosaurus would have roamed. And when it gets startled, it does that neck thing. And so in the story, in the universe of Jurassic Park, they were blending in stuff from living animals to see what would work. Komodo dragons have, it's not so much a venom, but they have a really sinister bite. And when they bite into a prey animal, there's such a reaction to like bacteria and other gross stuff. That the prey they want to chase goes for like 50 feet and then falls over, and then the dragon can come and get it when it wants to. So they combined those different kind of reptilian traits to make this really cool-looking dinosaur that could also fit into the side of a Jeep. So,
So, Jimmy, another thing that I got off TikTok is that
Oh, here we go.
there are certain dinosaurs that people thought existed because they put their bones together in a way that they wanted them to.
Yes.
Like,
that's like doing taxidermy wrong. That's like when you put a little can of beer in a raccoon's hand. It's not supposed to be there. You're playing God at that point.
and then apparently, like, there were some beloved like dinosaurs that never existed in the way that we thought they did. What are some of those?
I got two examples for you.
Okay.
One is a fantastic one that you can actually see in person at the Science Center this weekend. There's a creature called Elasmosaurus. This is a marine reptile. So it's not a dinosaur. That's another thing. There weren't really any dinosaurs that swam, and there weren't really any dinosaurs that flew. So like when you think of the pteranodon with the big wing thing, not a dinosaur.
Did they drown a lot?
A few did. A few. We have found a lot of the fossils that we find that are really in good condition are dinosaurs that got too close to a cliff and fell over and couldn't get back.
No dinosaur ISR out there.
But
a pterodactyl, was it real?
No, pterodactyl is a real animal.
Oh.
A real pterodactyl is like, it fits in the palm of your hand.
Oh my God!
It's like a mouse.
I want to own one.
No, they're super adorable. They're also reptiles and not dinosaurs, so they're closer related to things like alligators and lizards. And
So they're like a flying lizard.
Correct.
Okay.
The same way that a bat is a flying mammal and not a bird.
Yep.
Pterosaurs are flying reptiles and not dinosaurs.
So
You're
did they
blowing my mind
Did
today.
they only make
Everything I've ever known is not true.
Yeah, he is turning a lot of things upside down today, but that just shows you that.
But
like,
I'm spotting you while I do it.
he is. It's a trust fall
This
scenario.
is why you got to go to this paleontology party.
Well,
Get the real information.
This is what will open up, I think, your family or your child's mind to it. Is once they realize that the Hollywood stuff is kind of BS.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, not all of it.
Not all of
No.
it, but let's get the real stuff. You know, like
Yeah, exactly. So, Elasmosaurus, for example, when you walk into Dino Digs, you'll see this thing. It's one of the first things that you look at. It's got a huge, long neck, and it's got these big paddle.
I've seen
seen
it.
this. Yeah.
And so, when the guy who first discovered that was during a period called the Bone Wars. There were these two dudes who absolutely hated each other. Their names were E.D. Cope, Edward Drinker Cope, and O.C. Marsh, Othniel Charles Marsh. These two were like, I got to get as many things out of the ground as I can find. I want to name as many dinosaurs and creatures as I can. And so they were just in constant competition with each other
Like
during
the
the
Bone
1860s.
Rush or something.
That's exactly what it is.
the Bone Wars.
Yeah. This is that time. And so they, one of the creatures that was found, Cope found a creature that he dug all the bones out, and he's like, oh, this thing is amazing. It's got this huge 24-foot-long tail, and it's got this, 7-foot-long neck, and I can't wait to show this. I'm going to call it Elasmosaurus. And then Marsh looks at it, and he's like, bro, you put the head on the wrong end, right? This guy doesn't realize he put the head on the wrong end. Hey, everybody, the head's on the wrong end. And so they just lit him up over making that kind of mistake. So now when you see it at the Science Center, you'll see it in the proper orientation where it's got a very long neck so they could swim through shallow shoals and catch little groups of fish without them seeing this huge barrel body coming to them. And so that's one example where we figured out there was a mistake and they just lit the guy up over it.
Gotcha. Was there ever any, I also heard the Brontosaurus and stuff didn't look exactly like we thought it always had.
I've got some fantastic news for you on that one.
Okay.
So, yes, and that's a situation where Marsh, the guy we're talking about, discovered the Apatosaurus and the Brontosaurus. And he's like, oh, these bones, I'm going to call this thing Apatosaurus because those bones look kind of deceptive to me. This big leg bone over here, I'm going to call this the Brontosaurus because this thing would have stomped like thunder. That's my thunder lizard. And so it was a little while after that, they're like, hey, I think these actually come from the same animal. So, yeah, we got to pick one. And in the scientific naming rules, whichever creature gets named first, that's the name that sticks. So Brontosaurus went away for a while.
Okay.
In 2014, a friend of mine named Dr. Emmanuel Chop did a huge study. He studied 300 pages. He looked at every piece of long neck sauropods, we call those things, every piece of sauropod material that belonged to Apatosaurus or Brontosaurus. And he's like, okay, there are some differences. Not only are they different, but we've got 3 separate species of Apatosaurus and 2 massive species of Brontosaurus. So Bronto is back. And if you loved it before, you can still love it now.
Baby.
And I'm actually going to have...
All right.
Now. Don't call it for comeback. I've been here for years.
I love it, yeah.
And so I'm actually going to have a baby Apatosaurus with me this weekend at the Science Center. We're going to be doing a couple of guest story times. We're going to read some dinosaur books. I'm going to have my baby Apatosaurus come out and meet everybody. So you can actually see a real live Apatosaurus this weekend. It's going to be amazing. His name is Ajax, which is also the species name of Apatosaurus.
That's cool, man.
Are you also a ventriloquist?
Are you also one of them?
I imagine you bring out your Apatosaurus and you just start talking.
How's your day going, Apatosaurus?
I'm going to drink this water real quick, and Jeff's going to sing a song.
So Jimmy, so let's go back to actually recovering the fossils, right?
Yes.
So, from Jurassic Park, we get the image of a paleontologist in the desert, and they got a white tent up, and then they've got some fossil that they're sweeping off. They're always sweeping
one of those brushes.
Just it,
Yeah.
They have one of
like
those
a makeup
brushes.
brush.
Well, it's the ones that I see bros use on their BMW console. They're brushing out the dust from where their electric windows for their car.
Yeah, they're barely brushing it with a makeup brush, and I'm like, this thing is a 10 million year old stone.
Yeah.
Why are you being so delicate with it?
Well, I think you have to.
Absolutely.
How many brushes do you have to do? Is he doing that for days?
So is that all based on actual things that paleontologists do, or is it they just use that for the movies too?
No. So I actually led a couple of digs this past year. I did a dig in Texas where we're getting into some of the Permian period, which is the time period before the dinosaurs. And then I did a number of digs in actual Jurassic soil in Wyoming. And when we were taking those dig tours out, I would put a toolkit in everybody's hand. It's like, here you go. Here's a bucket. Here's a slightly smaller bucket. Here is a dollar store whisk brush. Here's another little chip brush as well. And then the piece de la resistance, it's an oyster knife.
An oyster knife.
An oyster knife, a little blunt edge oyster knife. Because you're going out there, because we find a couple of places, and we find some of the bones, and you're absolutely right. They have been in the ground for, the Jurassic stuff's been there for 140 million years.
Wow.
The Cretaceous stuff's been there for 67 million years. The Permian things are looking at 251 million years. It's been sitting there in the ground until we schmucks come along and start poking at it. And so
with an oyster shuck.
Yeah. And so it's been protected from the environment, from erosion, because of all the rock on top of it. But now that we're taking that stuff off, it's getting exposed to oxygen, and if it rains, for God's sake, all that sort of stuff. So we're very gentle at getting the overburden. We call it stuff matrix because it's the rock that wasn't alive. The fossils are the rock that were alive. And so we try to get those out as best we can. And then once we get the bones out of the rock, we take everything into a prep lab, and now we get to get the rock back out of the bones.
And then it's meticulous.
Yeah.
Every
very much so.
How long does that take? Like let's say an average size dinosaur fossil from in ground to fully, I guess, complete, which is all the other rock off of it. What's the process? How long?
There was a study that was released 2 days ago, or just a couple days ago, about a Gorgosaurus. It's a Canadian cousin of Tyrannosaurus Rex, about 11 feet tall, really cool, like
super
eye piercings.
polite.
Yeah, very much so.
Right, like really nice.
It's hard to measure how big this one because you got to use a metric. But they found this thing with like stomach contents. So we knew that this Tyrannosaur was growing up, it changed its diet. And like sometimes I just want chicken nuggets. And it's like, well, you can't have chicken nuggets right now. We're having fettuccine. And so like you would see the changes in the diet on it. That specimen's been worked on with a preparation process for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Because you got to move little bits of dirt, little bits of rock at a time to get to something that looks more like this. So here, I brought a couple
Can
of...
I hold that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, I feel weird about like...
How do you go about finding the places to dig?
You know what's wonderful is that a lot of the major discoveries are done by amateurs first. So people who go out on like volunteer fossil digs.
It smells cool.
There are some museums around the
Do
world.
they just go to places that have already had fossils found?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's gotten a lot easier with modern technology because you can go on Google Maps right now and you hit that terrain button and you can see the erosion in the mountain ranges. You can see where places used to be lakes and rivers. Mm-hmm. Water is such a vital component of fossilizing things that if you can't find that, like that's one of the first things you find. What used to be a lake? And then you start looking around and you see changes in like the color of things. You can start to spot things where there's a difference between the texture of a bone versus the texture of a rock. So that piece that you're holding right there is the tailbone of a triceratops.
Whoa,
Really?
I've held the tailbone. It smells old too, doesn't it?
Smells like an old house.
It
What
does.
is that?
Yeah.
Well, because it came from the villages. But
No, he's smart and funny.
bring it on.
Yeah.
So that is part of the tailbone of a triceratops. So that came from the Lance Formation, so a specific area of Montana
That is
used
dense
to be
too, man. Like it is thick boy heavy.
So take a look at this part. This is a slice of a dinosaur bone, and when the dinosaurs were alive, their bones were a lot lighter. Right. So this is on the inside, and the parts that are black are the actual replaced pieces of the dinosaur bone, and the little light brown pieces in the middle are extra matrix. So when a dinosaur bone fossilizes, it's the same as a regular decay process. So like the skin, the muscles, all the integument stuff, that all goes away pretty quickly. In many cases, sometimes it sticks around.
That's crazy.
The bones decay one cell at a time over a long period of time, and when they do that, they create a little vacuum. And that vacuum pulls in liquid sediments, and so it fills in those gaps. So the bones that come out of the ground are a lot more brittle and a lot heavier than they would have been when the animal was alive.
Because they're absorbing whatever substance.
They soak it all up.
Do different substances address or affect the bones differently?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes,
are
they
there
do.
some that you're like, oh, yes, this one was in clay, yes, or this one was in, I don't know, something that
100%.
was, like sulfur, it was terrible, or...
And that's why when you're digging in Wyoming in a place, the area is called the Morrison Formation.
Okay.
Because it goes from around Red Rocks out to areas where all this is the same time dirt. You're walking on the surface here, and that is surface dirt from the Jurassic period. The stone out there is a lot of stuff called mudstone. So you can actually break it apart and it just crumbles in your hand. And so that's why the oyster knives come in handy, because I can easily pop off little pieces of the stuff that shouldn't be there, and it doesn't damage the bones underneath so much.
Jimmy, have we found all the fossils for every dinosaur that ever existed?
Not a chance.
Oh, okay.
No way. And we're finding more and more every day. And we keep, if you keep an eye out for like things on like the paleontology Reddit and stuff like that, or you'll see new studies that come out, or you follow me on Instagram at Dinosaur Podcast, you can find all these different places where you'll see new studies that come through, and you can find out how we're very close to discovering new things all the time because we're building off of what we've already learned. Now, I've got this tattoo of Stan the T-Rex.
Yeah.
This is the Tyrannosaurus that you can see at the Science Center. And on my tattoo, I found an artist who was a paleo artist first and a tattoo artist second. And so the bones that are shaded in are the ones that we've recovered, and the bones that are just outlined we haven't found yet.
I assume that we had
Nickel?
found all the bones to a T-Rex.
We know of the bones. We just maybe haven't recovered all of them.
So a lot of the bones that don't fall into those perfect fossilization conditions don't show up, or they get picked off by scavengers, or they get eaten. Believe it or not, that Triceratops might have eaten a bunch of bones that we were looking for, because when they get ready to lay eggs, they got to get calcium from someplace. They can't go down to a CVS and get calcium supplements, so they got to eat dried bones to help build their eggshells up.
Oh, mama dinosaur grinding the bones up.
What part of the world has the most dinosaur fossils?
Oh, that's a good one.
He specializes in good ones.
Yeah.
They called me Good One Tommy. I don't know if you do that, Jimmy.
No one's ever said
So-
that. But it might stick. It might stick. I like it.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam. There it is. Starting coming in hot.
Straight off.
Does that still mean the same thing as
No,
it did
no,
to
it's
the
changed.
windows?
It's changed.
Oh, okay, all
It's
right.
changed.
Okay, it's changed. What does it mean now?
No one knows.
Well, I know we could ask someone who does know,
Hey.
and it's comedian Vince Taylor. How you doing?
And according to my Urban Dictionary, it says it actually does have similar meaning.
It's more of a
female
call,
parts are
like a cat call, like
Yeah,
a
it's a-
ski.
It's kinda
you're
like a
calling
Oh.
the,
Yeah.
are you calling the skeet?
No,
No.
it's two different things.
No,
That's
no.
two.
It's-
Skeet is totally different.
Yeah, it's not a battle cry.
The skeet
Nah,
is
yeah.
the bait for the... I don't know what's happening.
Okay, no. Keep that thought. I want to see where you was going.
I was like, well, no, that's what Sam was saying, but then Sam blew my mind because she was like, no, it's a totally different thing. Ski?
It's not-
like
It's ski yee, not
yee.
ski.
Yeah.
I thought you said ski.
Nah,
With
no
a T on the
no
end.
T.
Just like that kid that says,
S-K-E-E-Y-E.
can I get a whatever that dumb kid. I hate
Oh, yeah?
I want to punch that kid in the face.
All right,
What
cut
was
that out.
And why is it
What was
always
that noise?
why is it always heavier little plump white kids saying that? And they're always on a swing and I want to push them over.
Little swing. Little fat white kids love that.
Yeah, man. Tom,
They love
If you-
moaning like a woman.
Vince Taylor. Vince Taylor, if you go to any sporting event, if you go to the Solar Bears game, you will see plethoras of small, chubby white kids that go, can I get a
yeah, doing the truffle shuffle,
Yeah,
man.
I'm like-
Yeah, whatever.
I'm like, knock that off, man. That's why nobody likes you.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Look, I'm here to support my fellow nerds and outcasts. So yeah, if you out there shaking that belly at a hockey game, I'm here for you.
There you
know
go.
what I'm saying? We don't want you to feel outcasted. Look, we all got bellies, and we ain't all white and pasty and corny. But
There you go.
do your thing. And we still love you. We ain't gonna nerd shame or kink
Since
shame.
the
No.
last time we saw you, Mr. Taylor, what have you been up to, man?
Man, I had a chance to. First of all, thank y'all for being here, and shout out to the people that have given me some love in the inbox about the appearances here. I did get a chance to go to Poland and Germany over the last couple months to entertain the troops, which I hadn't had a chance to do for a while. So that was pretty cool, man. That was pretty.
So
dope.
how does that even come about? Like, does
Good
someone
question.
contact you? Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah. Well, Biden hit me up on the hip. Not my home.
Did he smell your hair?
What's that smell? Hold on, I got to trip down the stairs.
You're black, you can ride a bike. I can.
You don't go, you ain't black. I have a friend network of comedians, and sometimes they get asked to do these tours, and they get to pick who they get to bring. And I was fortunate, Julie Scoggins, who actually lives locally. She's from not local, but she lives on the Palm Coast, but she's from North Carolina. She was going out there, and I was like, "Oh, chick, I'm coming with you."
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? If you need a second luggage, I'm running in it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it.
So do you get to decide? Well, I guess you don't really get to decide where you're going, but when do you know where you're going? Could it be anywhere? We've talked to comedians that have gone into
Well, it's
places
sort of secretive,
that are,
right?
that are
Like
still
you could be
fighting.
You could be going to a place where they don't really want to telegraph too many
Right.
people where you're going, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
you're
there's
100%
protocol, and I'm sure they also run a background check and make sure that you're a decent individual, right? No,
Nah, not at all.
I would
Me
imagine
and-
they would. Well, I don't know. They let
me-
Kid Rock go and do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But also,
you know.
you got the whole army there. What are you
Yeah, like,
gonna
what-
do?
what about
they
the-
all have guns.
Well,
I'll kill
but you know what? Like, so I'm just guessing. You don't think
I know.
Jared from Subway is like, hey,
I know, yeah.
Oh yeah.
some sort of security check.
I don't know.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, it is kind of weird that I didn't get in. There was no kind of. I could have been a whole spy.
I'm sure they looked you up and
they just don't tell you.
Yeah.
Nah, I bet you they didn't. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause but I did test the system. I ain't gonna lie, because they got like bases that they call dry bases. That means you're not supposed to bring alcohol on the base, or not supposed to be alcohol. But I sure enough found me a way to bring some of that in. What you do is you get your little shampoo bottle, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you smuggled liquor in?
I put it after the first time we went in, I was like, oh, they ain't going through all of our bags. Oh yes, I'm bringing the whole thing of Hennessy off in here
like a cruise.
Bro, I promise you, bro. I was up in there. If I had found a way to find some of my medicinal products in Poland without being scared of going to jail and being on some Brittany Gardner type stuff, I would have been out there, but it wasn't happening. Also, we don't get to pick. Otherwise, I'd have been in Amsterdam. You know what I'm saying? I still got some research that I'm conducting in the red light district that I haven't really finished. But I did get a chance to go out there. But there's a lot of weird things that I learned about these bases and about Poland that maybe y'all don't know. First of all, did y'all know that there's hardly any black people in Poland?
I could have guessed that.
Did you know that?
I thought that, but I didn't know it was based on nothing.
I must be the weirdo that thought it was all black.
Yeah, man. Like,
he thought it was a country in Africa.
Yeah, when you hear Poland, I mean, the first word is Pole, so you would think.
I thought it was next to Chad.
Or Djibouti, right?
Nobody talks about Chad. God bless
It's such a weird thing, because when you're around people that don't see black people a lot, they really don't know how to act. So a lot of my time was spent talking to Polish people who wanted to prove to me that they had seen other black people before. And so they have like pictures saved in their phones.
Wait, that's what we do as white people. We're like, some of my best friends are black. Oh, they were doing that.
Is that what? Okay, all right.
I do that weekly.
Vince, what do you think you're doing here?
That's why he invited you. Yeah.
Now I tell other people, like, comedian Vince Taylor, he's my best friend. He's my black best friend. We used to work together. I've known him for 20 years.
He taught me about skiing.
That's right, skiing. Yeah.
Then I say skiing.
Me and Tommy went to high school in Pound Town. That's right. It was a whole thing. But now, so that was crazy. But I also learned some terms, and I thought these terms were so fascinating. I wanted to ask y'all if y'all had any idea, if you could guess what these terms are. All right.
Oh, is he a Polish term?
Nah, these are Polish things. They're not Polish terms, so to speak. But they're just some things that I learned that existed in Poland. All right, let me start this off easy. This is a military term, and I want y'all to tell me if you know what do you think a Brandon is? What do you think a Brandon is?
A Brandon? Oh my God, that's Joe Biden. I'm on the board.
It's my boy.
I'm on the board.
Hold on,
that was too easy. That was low hanging fruit. That was too easy.
You're talking to old white men. You're asking us the only questions we know. I know who Brandon is and where he should go.
Regular Brandon, not dark Brandon.
If you ask me who's Brandon, what should I say to him?
You can read the bumper sticker on my truck.
That's what. Okay,
if you ask me who are we locking up, it's her.
Brandon. All right. So we got that one right now. Our Brandon is actually a miniature. I don't say a miniature, but a smaller version of a tank. Okay, so it definitely doesn't mean
it's a mini tank.
It's kind of a tank, which is weird. I have a friend, Dylan, who will be with me this week at Bonkers. We're going to be at the Corner Orlando on Friday and Saturday night, 8:30. But he's going to be with me Friday. He was with me on the tour, and he called it a tank, and the tankers were like, it's not a tank. Like, they were really mad about it. You know what I'm saying?
Get it right.
Well, now I'm going to change my bumper sticker to an inside military joke that says, let's go mini tank. And then only the military ones will be like, but everybody else will be like, what does that mean? Hell no.
Between me and Tommy, we go to this. Here's another one that I thought was fascinating. Barrack. Now, in the military, they have places where they stay, like tents and barracks. The tents are outside. The barracks are kind of like dorms. So think of the barracks as like an apartment building.
Sure.
For the military. What do you think a barrack bunny is?
Ooh, a chick that sleeps with the military guys.
Wow. Have you been to Poland? Because that's literally exactly what it is.
I know what a hockey bunny is.
Oh, Okay.
The math.
Okay, is this a former? How do you know?
Snow bunnies.
Yeah, snow bunnies.
snow bunnies.
Yeah. And then when you get into the trucker world,
Yeah,
it's
lot
lizards.
lizards.
I've heard about the
Because
lizard.
they're rough skin, because a lot of sun exposure.
Yeah,
I thought it was just the meth or crocodile melting their noses off.
Yeah, you go from bunny to lizard.
You hang out in those concrete lots in the sun.
Yo,
yeah.
I don't know enough about Sam. My Lord, are you coming in with
Rough
the
life,
wealth of
rough
knowledge
life.
about this prostitute host stuff?
Rough life. She smelled a couple days at her time.
Smelled a few.
I almost said it because I was getting too comfortable.
Whoa!
It's like,
Hey,
all right.
comfort with me, ski, pound town.
Now, let me ask you, Vince, are the barracks bunnies, are there
In
military...
that's what my question.
No, they're like groupies that like military men.
Are they just local Polish women that come to party and like hook up with military?
Well, the ones
Americans?
that I had were. Now let me stop. This did not happen. I'm playing around, wife.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you
he's
got
joking
people
around.
listening.
He's a
I know,
jokester.
and y'all in the little group for my homeowners association that y'all be sharing those stuff. Y'all need to stop doing that, man. Every time y'all hear me
It's
on
next
here.
door. It's next door's coming to hit black people. Have you been on there?
Dead ass, bro.
I'm trying to shut it down because next door is nothing but white people complaining about black people.
Oh my! Hey, well,
They're like, who is this? And it's a FedEx guy.
It's a FedEx guy. Our Amazon packages here.
I know that guy. That's Bill.
Talk about.
He's in our neighborhood. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Orchid
anyway.
Estates does that too. But we out here. The barrack bunnies. I don't know where they ship them in from. I don't know if it's a whole Uber deal or if they just happen to be out there. But that's the thing. But here's another one that I think is fascinating. Just a couple more, and I'm done. What do you think a forest fairy is?
A forest fairy. That's
Drug
EJ.
dealer.
That's a good guess.
Forest
we
fairy.
need to hang out more, Sam.
We do, Vince.
Yeah, we gotta hang out.
Well, I'm going to venture a guess.
Okay.
And say that it's for like, let's say
I'm going to say it's a little person gay lumberjack. That's what I'm going to say. Little lumberjack. Little Polish lumberjack.
Remember when it was a thing where gay men would have sex at parks in the middle of the night? Like, it was happening in the 90s a lot. I guess before,
You've
like,
been,
there was gay nightclubs.
You've been
and, like,
watching a lot of biopics of like Harvey Milk. And then you got to do the Dallas Buyers Club, Harvey Milk.
So
a lot of milk.
my guess is some gay men having sex in the woods.
Hey, listen, you are on point. That is actually 100% almost accurate. But it's
Well, then
not.
that's not 100%.
100% almost.
Now it makes sense why you guys are best friends.
So
Fits our show perfectly.
Yeah, it makes sense why you guys are best friends.
That's right. It almost is the truth.
This guy's got a case of the yes.
It's forest fairies are exactly what you described, with the exception of the fact that they're women. Which I know the first thing you think is, fairies was a word that was thrown around for, to
Right,
describe certain people, which we don't want to do.
derogatory
Well, traditionally, I think fairies were women.
Well,
Like
if
in,
you go back to Peter Pan.
Well, what do
Yeah.
they just rub their butts together?
So I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked.
I'm not glad he asked.
So my first encounter, I heard about forest
Wait,
fairies.
you went into the forest and you saw the
I went
forest?
into the forest.
And you saw the butts rubbing
shielded
together?
and stored full link from Zelda style. And I'm out there looking for the fairies. I'm like, point me to the fairies. You know what I'm saying? But really how it happened was we was riding from one destination to another. And I looked out the window, bro. And I swear for God, all I saw was...
Oh, they're rubbing their butts. You're going to fall out the
I thought you were going to fart on the
Then
mic.
he really fits into the show.
If he had
to
farted on
remember.
the mic, I would have handed him a $100 bill and said,
I wasn't just going to fart. I was going to pull up. I was going to give you naked booty fart.
Oh, wow.
Different
Naked
kind of fart.
booty.
So they just showed their booty?
They have naked booty exposed while you're riding. Just imagine you're riding down, let's say 50, right? You look to the right, and there's a naked booty attached to let's assume it's a woman, and all you see, and let's 50's
Is she in a car or
50's
is she
not a
just
good example.
standing?
75 would be a better example.
All right.
No, it is. She's standing up, just out the blue. Just imagine your tree, mushroom, tree, mushroom, tree, naked butt, tree, and that's how it
So they're
works.
just mooning the street?
And so, but if you're a man who's on the road for so many hours, and you just need to ski a little something right quick, then you look over and you're like, hold on, I got a couple sliddies.
Are they
Sliddies is the currency.
advertising or is they doing it as an insult? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's fishing. It's fishing for truck drivers.
Like,
the guy
hey, look at what I got to offer.
And he gives her some money.
No, because I thought maybe they're mooning the U.S. military.
Right.
That happens every once in a while where, the U.S. military's in town.
She's protesting the Vietnam War.
Kiss my ass. Yeah, I know what you mean.
The locals don't want the military here. Sometimes the locals get mad for the faces there.
I know.
And then so they're mooning them to show them an insult. It's a different culture.
Nah, I would say that theory goes out the window when she services that same military that she's
Service.
Wow.
And thank you for her service, by the way.
So you just pull over, you give her some, what's the currency?
Slotties.
Slotties.
Which is very appropriate for the type of...
It really is.
Now, so local sex workers advertising that.
Yeah, I like the term. You know what I'm saying? Sex worker. You know,
I learned that from
I would
Sam.
just call it a wood.
She's changing my ways.
Once every
He
year.
used to call them street whores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just call them hoes in the woods.
1% better.
Now, to just add to that flavor, you may be asking, well, if they call the women forest fairies, do they have men? And yes,
Forest Garys.
Oh,
The Garys and Fairies.
Forest Harry Gary. Forest Harrys. I guess that'll be me. Now, they actually call the men, from what I discovered, not that I know by experience, wood wizards. All right. So
That's dope. And you stand up there with your staff.
Yeah. He's like asking, hey, do you want to go on this adventure type thing? And it actually becomes an adventure.
Forest fairies and wood wizards.
And barrack bunnies.
That's what we should have called our listeners. Forest fairies and wood wizards.
It's not too late.
Vince, I'm curious,
that's great, man.
You go and perform at, what, is it an army base?
Yes.
Okay, so...
For the Army.
So, and how is it set up? Is it set? Do they set it up like a comedy club should be set up, or is it like during the middle of the day, in an auditorium, everybody's dead sober?
It's like 10:30. They're eating eggs.
While you playing, that happened. Like it depends on what. Because all of the bases ain't the same, all right? Sometimes you'll go to a base, and it's basically like the hood. It's like the projects, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of tents. They out there. It's cold as hell, but they still got on shorts. You know what I'm saying? They got hella water, and you do your show in their tent. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
You set it up in the tent. There's no big comedy club with a sign behind it or some stage. We brought our own equipment. Every time we set up, we would get there 30 minutes ahead of time, set up our equipment. The last time we performed, though, we did it in the kitchen. Well, the cafeteria, which is the chow hall. That's exactly okay. Look at this guy. Somebody's been
white man again. I just want to remind you.
There's two things I know: chow holes and
wood holes.
He watched a lot of war movies.
And Brandon, yes, he was a barrack bunny.
And the greatest boxer of all time, Joe Louis.
And Rocky Marciano. I believe it. But now, so that's what we would do. It was kind of weird every now and then when we would set up for a military base, and it'd be like in the same room where they're playing Mortal Kombat, you know what I'm saying? And we kind of got to tell them to calm down for a little bit, let us do our little thing. And I'm a Mortal Kombat head, so I wouldn't object.
Yeah, go over there and play with them.
How did the audience respond? Were they glad that you came out to perform? Like, I always wondered, because you hear from these tours that people are either super excited that they're getting entertainment and they're grateful for the fact that you came to entertain them, or I've also heard that they're disinterested and I want to get back to Xbox.
Just like a regular comedy club.
Yeah. And they're all 21 years old, and there's I just want to play Xbox. I don't want to hear no stand-up
I'm pretty
comedy.
certain if you put an Xbox in a comedy club, you probably would lose some interest. I would lose. I'd be like, why am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? Can I get the sticks, please? I'm trying to get on Halo. But it depends. When I first went out, it's my first military tour with of this stature. I've done military stuff in the States, but I haven't done something over there. And you get to your crowd curates itself. They promote within, and whoever shows are people that probably want to do it. And they're really happy because you got to keep in mind, these folks are stuck out there for months on months on months. You know what I'm saying? There's not no combat right now. So they're just learning the same stuff over and over again. So to hear somebody from the United States come back over to tell you what's going on, it just kind of feels like a way to connect back to home instead of being around all these slotty, barrack bunnies and all these.
Was the base huge base in Poland? Okay, because I've been to a military base in Germany, and it was so massive that on inside.
Yeah, I can see it. Go ahead, Brandon.
Like inside the military base, there was a mall. There was Subway, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. Wow. Like they turned it into a mini
military
United States
Subway. Yuck.
And then and then with the neighborhood, they like with all like they actually had homes built, like gigantic.
Right. Okay.
And then it's like so once you pass through the gates, you're basically in the United States.
Wow.
Essentially, where it's like because it's so massive, and they brought in like all the local American corporations.
All right, I'm gonna tell you something. I am firing my agent because I didn't see nothing like that.
Okay,
there's that like you saw something phenomenal. I didn't see like the most we saw were like barbecue chips inside of a tent with a little bit of water, and they've had their own HVACs. It's like if you combine, just take a I don't mean for this to sound bad, but take a bunch of mobile homes, all right, put some saran wrap around them, and that's basically what we was performing in. You know what I'm saying? For the
gotcha.
There was a couple times
smaller.
I think you were in the real because I mean, like Sam said, they are everywhere, and some of them we don't even know about. They're just extensions of bases that are already there.
Yeah.
Or they've come over to another base just routinely to, like you said, help certain training there. Then they're only going to be deployed there for a couple of months, then they go back to their main.
You would think that this like a army base in Poland has been there since World War II. Like just like Germany, that's why it's so big and established already, just because it's been there since the 40s, and they've had a lot of time to build it up.
Yeah, well, they did have those same bases. They weren't used for U.S. military bases back when they were constructed. Some of them were old, unfortunately, places where they would call concentration camps. You know what I'm saying? And they rebuilt them to suit the army that's over there right now. So
that's cool. Did they give you any briefing? Well, no, like the fact that you're going there over concentration camp.
Cool. I love those. I tell us more about them.
No, but more than that, like when you're going over there and you're flying, this is the stuff that always fascinates me. Do you get any briefing or anybody telling you like, okay, we're going to this one area.
Here's the rules.
Yeah, or it's going to be crazy, or you're going to see
don't leave the base.
We're going to be real low, and the reason we're real low is because this is scary stuff.
Like, are you
stay low and keep firing?
We're going to be flying through the buildings.
Are you considered just like contracted employees of the military, and then because they have a lot of contractors that work on the base that are not military, but they're like electricians and like even construction workers or drivers. Like there's tons of contractors.
We have a listener that's a custodial staff on a base. He has nothing to do with the military, but all he does is fix things and clean things, and that's all he does.
Yeah, that's what the barrack bunnies do too, as apparently clean things. That's all the subject. But for right now, I think that I'm just listed as an entertainer. You know, for those of us over there, we get like a temporary pass. We go in the gate, then we come out. We got to give our pass back. It's nothing that serious. You know what I'm saying? But they do tell us to be mindful of the fact you're an American in close to wartime. We were at one point in time, I think, like 90 minutes from Russia, so we were told not to wear anything that could link us to being American. You know what I mean? Now, me personally, I don't know. I felt safe, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think there's a lot of us getting kidnapped, you know, other than Brittany, you know, who came back. You know, I feel like I didn't have to worry about too much. But
there is also the funny thing, like, don't wear too much, like, don't wear anything American flags or whatever.
Right.
But you started with, you were the only black person there. So if I was a Russian soldier looking for the American,
he doesn't belong here.
He doesn't know if I come from America, if I come from somewhere else.
Is not like the other.
This man is a little heavier toasted than usual American.
Hey, everybody freeze. Let me see you down. You there. That's a jig. Do a jig.
I want to hear this sexy red.
This aneurism. This aneurism.
So I didn't. Now, there are hierarchies within it. It's like the folks that stay, there's contractors, and some of them stay off the site, and they think they're better than the folks that stay on site. So you got to call that out every time you can. But other than that, it's nothing serious.
Are you allowed to like go off into local town?
Yeah, I didn't stay on I didn't stay on bases. We stayed in hotels, like I said, which brings me to another question. I'm curious with y'all, like when I go to hotels, normally in the States this isn't an issue, but overseas for some reason they don't give you washcloths for like your face and for like your like I use washcloths.
No, they use their hands.
Washcloths, that's an American thing.
That's an American thing. But I use it on my face and my ding dong, but everybody else I know, the European people,
do you use the same?
They just use soap. No, I go through like 2 a week, maybe one a week.
No. I mean the same washcloth on your face as your ding dong.
No. No, I got a ding dong cloth and a face cloth.
You got a ding dong cloth. How do you tell the difference? Do you,
colors.
label it?
One is black. The ding dong is black. The face is white.
Do you put the black one on your?
No, the black one's in the shower. The white one's on the sink. I got answers.
You got a system for real.
I do.
I didn't grow up using washcloths. I
did.
know nothing about the
Just
washcloth.
your hand?
yeah.
I think that's a Southern thing too, because most of my friends that were like had any type of European influence whatsoever, or from other countries, would just use soap and their hands and wash their face with their hands, splash water in it, and they'd be like, "No, it's better for you." They'd be like, "No, the washcloth it rubs off too much skin or too many oils."
Yeah, I feel like it's nasty. This dude named Tom Segura, I don't know if y'all heard of him. He walked into a little bit of some trouble because he recently said that washcloths was for poor people. You know,
he's been going hard on the pores lately. Yeah.
And I didn't realize how poor I was.
I was poor too.
I tend to say if you're washing with a cloth rather than your hand, your hand is more poor.
Yes,
not everybody can afford cloths. That's something a king would have.
But if you got a towel, I mean, that's a cloth. It's just a bigger cloth. You know what I'm saying? Like I shouldn't have to use a beach towel for my face when I go over to Poland. Like I hate.
So what
that.
do rich people use? Their hand?
They use
peasants.
I think overseas washing your body culturally. I think across the board. I think North America. I'll throw Canada in there. I know the South. The way I was raised was all washcloth city. We had nothing but washcloths in the Dennis household growing up.
Oh man!
But I feel like Europe and other places, they just use their hands, even to wipe, even to wash. It's just hands. I
want to educate Dan real quick. I don't know if he knew this or not, but he said North America and even Canada.
No. I was bringing them in. I was like, I know it's part of North America.
Really American.
But I don't count them as American. Like they don't do the same thing.
Yeah, we're American.
We're the real American. So do you like wash your legs with the washcloth, or do you just let the water just drip down?
I have since exited washcloth land, and now I am too.
Oh
my God.
The bouginess.
I do soap, and I soap myself with my hands, and I wash legs, feet, in between my toes, but I don't use anything but my hands.
Oh, rich man, booty Dan.
I'm rich man, booty Dan.
You know what's weird is Samantha brings up a good point. It should be more fancy to use the cloth.
Thank you.
It should be the hands. Like,
right.
If you're using a separate mini towel to wash yourself, then that's rich and fancy.
I got mini towel money.
Mini towel money.
But somehow it became a joke for the poor.
I completely agree. There are sometimes, like, I wish that I was rich enough to wipe my butt with cloth.
Wow.
Wet cloth.
You know
and then throw it away.
You can't
one
do that.
for one per deuce. I got a nice piece of silk that I soak in water, and I'm clean. And then the plumbers are like, "Don't flush that." I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm throwing it away. I'm rich."
Well, that's another thing that we see in some hotels. In addition to not having washcloths, you get a bidet every now and then. Have you ever used a bidet?
I've used one, but I don't have one. I kind of want one.
You used it? Did you enjoy it? Was it a pleasant experience?
I liked it, but I got to be dry back there, so I got to do it, and then I got to take something and dry it. Normally, I take like a washcloth and pat it dry, and then I throw it on the ground and have the cleaning lady.
Pat what dry?
My holes.
Oh.
No, come on.
Holes. Wait a minute, man. Hold up. How many are we dealing with here?
My openings.
This crevice.
What confuses me about the bidet, and I've said this before,
You sit facing it,
is
so you can work the knobs. It's like riding a jet ski. You got to sit in it like a jet ski, but don't sit in it like you're Sean Kingston. If you're Sean Kingston in the bidet, you're going to almost kill yourself in the dock.
I can see Tommy looking in the eye of the bidet.
It doesn't seem like the water. I understand there's a little bit of pressure there, but not enough.
Oh no, the ones I've used go blow you off the thing.
Oh no, it's one like hard.
Harder than that.
Okay,
harder than
okay.
Wow,
right, so then it makes sense that it actually cleans it, because I was saying if it's just like a water fountain,
ease it in.
Okay, all right.
You can't just go full, because then that's
Are we still talking about bidets?
Yeah, we are. You're on the board.
I don't know. Bidets, they're a little weird. I just don't know why they don't put like the same kind of lid on it that they do with the toilet. Like you got to sit, like, you know how ladies complain about not having the seat turned down or whatever. Mm-hmm. They don't have any seat on the bidet. It's just straight raw butt cheek that you put on it, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, why don't they have a seat?
Yeah, Dan.
Because you're not supposed to be peeing in it, I think.
You're not supposed to pee. Okay.
But you're sitting now. Are you hovering?
I'm going to ask you guys a serious question. Are you supposed to deuce And number one, I'm trying to be clinical and clean this up.
Okay.
Then
Well,
I'm
we're
supposed to go to the next chair, right? Sit on the next chair,
Right.
and clean myself up.
Right.
We can't talk about this anymore.
This is clinical. This is
From a clinical standpoint,
This
it's
is
still
like
nasty.
if I were asking the hotel staff, how do I use this? I'm a caveman.
Yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to, we don't want leaks. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard to go from one to another.
So, Vince,
without having to worry about it.
I wonder if there's going to be a documentary about like people's careers being made because of COVID.
And, right, because she's been around forever. She was on Chelsea Lately for years.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been doing stuff for years.
That's where
Like
I
the Tiger King and
knew her from was Chelsea Lately.
But there was like certain documentaries and certain comedians that released their specials right at the beginning of the right time at COVID when everybody was sitting and like streaming everything, and their careers blew up because of that.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Just like the lucky timing, which is weird to say lucky because it was a pandemic, but it's like
it's an opportunity
for your career. Yeah.
And then imagine blowing up and making your career during the pandemic
and then
getting a Netflix special and then blowing your bag because you ruined your entire audience like Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Well, right.
What happened with Rife?
I don't know if
he went off the deep end. He decided he didn't like the people that were his fans, so he insulted them and is trying to get a whole new audience that really doesn't care about him either. So he's kind of just out there in the ether now.
Is it
he's
that
making
bad
fun of
now?
6-year-olds.
Well, the 6-year-old thing I don't put on him at all. The 6-year-old thing I put on the lady because you shouldn't have your kid.
Explain to me what happened because I don't know any of this.
Oh, well, I
Matt
guess
Rife.
the first joke in his new special, I haven't seen it. I've never been a
I didn't
fan.
watch it.
I've never thought he was like, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's a comedian. Like, I don't hate the guy.
I've never watched his specials.
No dog in the fight.
I love Fine.
You do. You'll love it.
When he came to town.
But he, a lot of women love him because he's a very attractive guy.
Yeah.
So he did, in this new special, I guess his first joke, and we're way late on this, I understand, but his first joke is about domestic violence. So then he was getting a lot of backlash because a lot of his list, I'm trying to simplify it too.
Okay.
A lot of
he started with domestic violence, and then he kind of crapped all over kind of women in general in the special when his primary audience is women.
Okay.
And then he's been going on different podcasts talking about how he kind of hates that it's just women, and he's trying to appeal to the men because he's like, hey, I'm funny. I'm not just a good-looking guy.
It appears that way.
Okay.
Now his
all right.
audience.
Doing that.
No, he is. He's come out and said that.
He's just, so it's just like beef.
That's a young man's ideals.
28, though. He's
That's
that
pretty young.
For a comedian that successful that's touring that big, like that's early in a career.
He's been doing it since he's 15.
I just
Even
I don't
then,
buy
though,
into
like
any of it. I look at it and I'm like, it's all just some sort of a scam to get us to pay attention to whatever you're doing. Like the lady that is an influencer that took her son, and then I guess she fired out this video of like her 6-year-old son saying, hey, he has a joke in his special that basically says, something about Jupiter having rings or Saturn having rings.
Okay.
And then the kid tried to correct him and say, actually, it's Jupiter that has rings, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end...
I think it was the opposite, but he
whatever.
was just scientifically correcting him on his joke, and
then
he got all upset.
Yeah, at the end of it, the kid goes, and you're mean to women. So, okay, so first of all, you got a lady who's an influencer who's taking a 6-year-old that has no business being on TikTok, who's launching a bomb at a guy for clout. 100% she's doing it for clout.
Yeah.
He answers because he can't hold his tongue. Is that a bad look for him? Absolutely. But hey, he is who he is, right? He's a comedian, whatever. He answers back and he says Santa's fake and yada yada, and he's like going at this kid.
Saying his mom's on OnlyFans.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole thing is just you could have just left everything alone and just been a comedian, and this is what Sam and I have been saying.
You
How about
ruined
just
your money.
Just stay. Just
do what you've been doing the past few years.
Yeah,
maybe you can't.
Is it screwing up his sales and everything?
Yeah.
I don't see. That's the thing is I don't know. People are saying it's messing up his sales, but he looks fine to me.
Yeah,
I mean, is it really?
He was.
Is he destitute? I don't
this
think
is before
No, he's not destitute.
the controversy, but he was playing the Dr. Phillips, and tickets were like 200. Remember, I was trying to get him for
going.
He'll still have his fans.
Yeah. And so like
there's still a lot of people sticking up for him, but
if he's still selling out Dr. Phillips at $280 a ticket or whatever. I remember I tried to get
some
like a couple tickets for a client, and it was like $700 for a pair of tickets or $800, and I was like, "Ay!"
Yeah.
And there was no comps
No.
or anything. It's like when you are doing that size theaters for $800 for 2 tickets. I think now if that dries up, then you really blew it. But who knows if that will happen?
See, I don't think it is. I
because
think
internet controversy doesn't necessarily
Correct.
translate to sales.
Yeah, like everybody's saying, like, oh, he's destroying what he made, and it's like, well, maybe on the surface it appears as if he's doing that, but I think maybe it's a little more set in stone. You know, like
but if he shows up and the people buy the tickets, and then it doesn't matter.
I've never I don't know. It's just that's the thing about comedy, right? It's like Ralph Barboza, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've had a lot of people watch the special, and I did. It's just too slow for me. That's the thing about comedy. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people think I'm not funny, so that's fair. Whatever.
It's all subjective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, but I do agree. Like it's interesting that, and we've always said this, like about having your audience be like you. It's way more enjoyable as an entertainer than having an audience that you're different from. And like I'm obsessed with this theory of like.
So that's what's happening with him, and then you're seeing a massive. It's almost like he's rejecting a heart transplant.
So it's so easy for us. I don't know if it's easy for you guys, but like
nothing's easy for me.
When we talk,
everything's a struggle.
Like when we go on our cruise. So they were going on in September next year, and we've been on many cruises with our listeners and also events and stuff. It's so easy because I'm talking to people that are like-minded and are usually around our age, give or take, 15 years or so. But it's just like people that are kind of like us in some way, or at least find our comedy funny. And then it's like, all right, I'm just talking to a bunch of friends that are, they're into the same thing, and think the same things are funny. But then if you are famous and so let's say your audience is all like young teen girls, or your audience is all kids, or old men, or someone like far away from you, or like maybe you are playing some like you're an actor and you're on some.
This happens to YouTubers.
Yeah. Or like let's say
it happened to Miley Cyrus. Right, in a weird way.
A lot of people that grew up with her.
She survived it though because she's smart.
Now her audience kind of grew with her, so
they did. And I think she made good choices on how to pivot. She didn't go too crazy, but she did a little, just enough.
She went pretty far,
but it didn't seem to have a completely detrimental effect on her. Some people
for a little bit, I think, especially. I mean, it depends, right? Because some of the parents with younger kids were like, "Oh, she's no longer an idol to my child." They did the same thing with Britney Spears back in the day. I do think though that she made a comeback in a big way. Though.
Oh yeah. And
there was a lot of people that didn't like that whole Bangers album and that whole era of Miley, but
she self-financed that, which is what's so impressive about her.
So say you're this comedian, and I'm sure a lot of comedians have egos, right? Most entertainers do. And so you're this super successful comedian selling out bigger venues than the rest of your proteges or the contemporaries.
Right.
And then but all your audience is women, and you may not have much in common with. And so it just like maybe it's eating at him, and then he's like, because all his other comedian friends have.
I think you can still do it though without necessarily dropping everybody off.
Why does it bother you? If they're your fan, why would that bother you? It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
just because you're trying to
getting as much respect from your peers, maybe,
and they're not taking you as seriously, which is ridiculous.
And that's a human thing for everybody. That's not just
if you have an audience, you have an audience.
But it's like
but you have to be mature enough to understand that, and that's where the youth thing
the 28,
comes in.
and I think
I agree with that.
I think that's the problem.
So he's just looking for male validation. Because if it was all dudes in the audience, I mean, that makes sense.
Well, I don't think he's looking for all male, validation, but I think that he would like it more balanced. And since it isn't, he's sick of. I mean, obviously, he's sick of the people saying, "Oh, they're only coming to see you because you're attractive, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll show you," which is like, how many of those work out?
But he has made himself attractive.
It's kind of the opposite of attractive female comedians, and then people saying like, "Oh, I'm guessing that some attractive female comedians, like who's the
Nikki Glazer,
and also the
April.
April, and also I'm thinking of the
what was her name? April Macy.
She was married to Jimmy Kimmel.
Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman. Like, you were there.
She's still pretty to me. So pretty. I think Sarah Silverman has always been beautiful.
I'm sure
for some reason.
In the comedians world, they're like, oh well, because you're very good, attractive, that you're getting more
I'm sure
audience because of that.
Yeah, of course.
And then you're constantly battling like, hey, no, it's because of my material and what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's always people have always battled that, especially women.
Mostly like men comics will tell women comics like you should probably not try and hot yourself up on stage because people don't like that. I mean, that's a thing that they do.
I like hot comedians on stage that are funny. So, like, Nikki Glaser works for me because she's on stage, really hot, saying funny things. So that's perfect.
Yeah, or
more is more.
Yeah. Or,
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Whatever you're saying is, if it's funny, it's funny. It doesn't matter really
if
who.
You're hot, that's just a nice bonus. But my point with Matt Rife is, I don't think you need to alienate the ladies that were there to still do and bring guys into the fold, right? You don't need to drop them off at the bus stop, and you could have done it a little more. Right. You just do it like you give it more thought. And
that's ego and youth.
Yeah, you give it more thought, and you go like, "Hey, there's room for everybody at this table." Like the biggest thing that Tom and I've learned, and we battle a little bit. I was talking to a guy a little bit about this on the BDM page. He was like, we were talking about the topic of the Friday Free Show, and he was like, "Just get in there, just talk." It's not as easy as just talk. That's not how it works. It's not just we come in here and we just talk and that's the show and it's great. There's so many other little micro.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not great.
Yeah.
And that's where we bitch about.
Exactly.
It can't always. There's good and bad days. There's times. It's like you can't always perform as much as high level as you want to, and I'm sure that happens to every performer.
And so when you sit down and like Sam is saying, when you sit down and look at your audience and you're like, okay, well, I do have this. Let's say 75% of them are these ladies that really like me. And so you want to serve them and also find, 25% for the guys to bring them in.
Now, this could be not something he did on purpose, and it just could be material he wrote because he thought it was funny, and then everybody else...
It's a complete 180 from his other material, though.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, though, comics...
Yeah, bands do it with music.
Change up the what they're talking about. So, people are assuming it's because he wants a new audience, and maybe that's on...
It is. He has said that on podcast. He went on Jordan Peterson and discussed it. Yeah.
He said he did this on purpose.
This was a tactical move.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that seems stupid to say that. Because I would never admit it. Like, say if that was my plan, I'm like, I did want to try to.
He also dropped the mic at the end of the special, which was very great.
Anybody does
that. He goes,
that.
And you guys thought I only did crowd work. And then he drops the mic and walks out.
That's bad. You know what that is? That's the epitome of the Michael Jackson. Yeah. And they said it wouldn't last. And then you kiss Lisa Marie, and everybody's like, don't do that.
And you're like, that just makes it look more fake.
But I could understand becoming super egotistical and pompous and narcissistic.
Is it happening? Are you doing it?
No. I get it because I'll never reach.
Are you Castleberry Rife?
But if I was going from town to town and selling out the biggest theaters in town instantly for the highest price ticket in town, and it didn't matter, and then people were going crazy
You'd be
for
poisoned
me,
by it.
No matter.
That is an honest answer. Is that you would have to fight that?
I don't think I'd fight. I think it would take me over.
What do you mean?
That was an honest answer. No, he's saying that.
I'd be like, I am the best.
And I can change my audience on a whim. Watch this, ladies. I'm going to go all guys now.
I'll do whatever.
I'm drunk with power.
And if you have made kind of unlimited money, and when I say unlimited money, when you come when you don't have any money, I don't know if he came from rich or whatever, but
I don't know.
And,
his story.
Again, and if he was working on Wild and Out since he was 15, so he's been working for a while.
So let's say, if you've earned, what do you think his net worth is?
A lot now, because last year his tour, he got at least, I would say
15 million.
I know Fortune's net worth, and it made me sad. What do you think Fortune, Famster's net worth is? Normal person, though. When I look at her, I go, you're a normal person.
6 mil.
No, way lower.
Really?
Damn it.
4?
1.5.
Oh, okay.
And when I looked at that, I'm like, God damn, you are a normal person, aren't you? You're just a regular Carolina person, just a normal.
All right, I got.
She just got. I mean, it's only been 3, but she's made that in 3 to 4 years.
Oh,
I know she's
I'm
been
not saying
touring.
it's bad. I'm just saying you expect or you want to look at that and go, oh, 20 million. That's what she deserves. You know.
Well,
seems like
I didn't realize he had done a reboot of TRL.
Who did?
Matt Rife, because nobody watched it, apparently.
He's secretly
He got
been...
$15,000 a week for doing that.
Sam, he has secretly been doing, like you said, since 15. That's why I don't...
What?
That's also why maybe I don't believe the right turn scenario on his career, because I'm like, you've been doing this long enough to know better.
What's his net worth?
What did you say, 10 to 15?
I said 7.
I'll go 12.
It says, after blowing up on TikTok... and his successful world tour, he has generated sales of approximately $43.5 million.
Okay, well, that's total sales, though.
Right.
So I wonder what his personal net worth is.
It says here the gross was between 30 and 57 million.
I hate when they do that, where it's like,
Right.
I realize that they sell a lot of tickets.
Net worth as of 2023, $30 million.
Holy smokes, that was way off.
So think about it, like, if you're going from town to town, selling everything out, you have $30 million, and in your mind, at 28 years old, like, I used to think when I was in my 20s that if I ever made $50,000 a year, I'd be rich or beyond my wildest dreams.
50,000 was the number.
I was like, well, if I
did you have a number, Sam? 50K was my number.
I don't think I ever thought I'd get to 50K.
I was like, if I make 50K, I'm the dude. I'm the president of the United States.
So anyway, if you have 30 million at 28, you probably are like, I'll do whatever I want. I'll do whatever makes me happy. I'll stay true to whatever comedy I want to do. Who cares?
Can I say something
I have unlimited
mean?
money. Although business-wise is stupid, but I guess...
I'm going to say something mean. I was watching the interview with Matt Rife, and I think he was either on Two Bears or he was on Tom Segura's podcast. And when I was watching him talk, I didn't get the feeling that he's hyper intelligent.
No.
I got the feeling like maybe he's not that bright.
Agreed.
And that's not throwing shade. I just honestly,
he's a kind of a dodo.
It was a little derp to me.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking about stuff, I was like, that's not right. Like he was saying things that I'm like, I don't think you should say, or that's not good.
And I wonder if that is also like
It sounded youthful, like what Tom was saying.
Effect of like that he didn't have a traditional upbringing, right? Because he was like on MTV when he was in the middle of high school and stuff.
It does make you a bit more naturally entitled, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're more
and
comfortable with Hollywood. Yeah.
He didn't go and complete a full school. Like if you're already performing at 15, you ain't going to you
have a different attitude towards everything.
It's some sort of homeschool. You're just filling out the forms. Like you're done with it, which you don't need to. And also it goes along with the stereotype of if you're good looking, you're not so smart, right?
It does.
But he's had a lot of work done, so
it doesn't.
Well, whether you pay for it or
what I'm saying is he was either smart or not before that.
Good luck to him.
He's fine. $30 million is fine.
Whatever.
I think you could pretty much
as long as he doesn't blow that.
Yeah, and you could say, and he's gonna he'll come back around and he'll sell out and he'll make just as much money. That's my prediction.
We'll
see. We will see. But I think he'll sell out.
I don't even really believe in getting canceled anymore.
He didn't get canceled.
No,
nobody ever got canceled.
It's just a bad look. You know, some of these things.
Even Chris D'Elia is performing in town.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
although he
no matter
did
what
have to lower himself to Daytona Beach for a couple of years.
But you'll still have your audience. I'm sure he sold out those, places.
He did.
I mean,
but he sold something. People still went to go see him.
But he's on the rise again because people will forget about it. I mean, the news cycle is crazy, and your memory is just as long as the news cycle.
Yeah, Louis C.K. is been touring.
God, that one hurt my heart.
100%. Yeah,
I mean, he's touring big venues.
He was so good when I saw him. Mike Aiello got me that ticket when I just quit the radio station. Mike Aiello took me to see Louis C.K. and the special guest that night was Todd effing Glass.
Oh, nice!
Roasted my face. Best comedy show I've ever been to. I mean, just so good.
Let's talk about Louis C.K. for a second.
So funny. My God, it was a funny show.
What?
I still don't know what he did.
Well, I kind of.
There was a few things he did.
Yeah, I pieced together.
He was an influence user, right?
But when
you'll never work in this town again, kind of a guy.
When was the day, the first time he's like, you know what I'm going to do?
I know.
And then I
can't even wrap my brain around
it starts slowly, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
they test the limits. They keep testing people's boundaries.
Yeah, what's the boundary?
Well, the first one you do is like you start ripping the I was thinking of like animal torture, but you want real. Like, what is the first thing he does? Maybe the first thing he does, he walks out of the men's room here with a towel rack.
Okay.
That's how. Are you asking me to walk? Okay, I'm going to do OJ.
Yeah, like say I was Louis C.K. and then Sam's a victim.
Okay. All right, you're Louis
C.K.
Yeah,
This is a little too close to...
Dan Dennis presents OJ's as Louis C.K. if I did it.
So
you walk out of the men's room here.
and then I got a full
you have
one
a full
going.
towel rack.
Yeah.
And you just walk by and see if she notices.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then, you do that for like a month.
I mean, you have already walked in on me in the bathroom twice.
Yeah. I walked in on a lady.
That's how it starts.
When I did my
You've come out with pee-pee all over your pants.
That's his favorite
You
thing.
stripped down to do a swimming challenge in front of me.
He likes to walk in on women as he pees his pants.
I was wearing a swimsuit.
You said you were going to wear jammers, but you chickened out. You wore Bud Light board shorts. long Bud Lights. So you got a Walmart.
Kid Rock back to drinking Bud Light.
Okay, so you walk out with that's the first. You do that for about a month, and then so the next time you do,
and then if I could tell, what am I trying to tell? If she says anything,
you're
if she
testing
looks
her
at
boundaries of what she's okay with, and getting her used to you being terrible. So the next thing you would do is in there, you'd be like, "Oh man, the shoulder thing. Can you hear that?" And you do the shoulder.
Okay.
And you'd be like, "Do you mind pressing on just that area?" And then you're making her touch her. See, it's not sexual, but it is in your mind. It is because you're a lunatic.
Yeah. She's touching me.
Yeah, and then you go to the bathroom.
That's what I think. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
even though I asked her to massage my shoulder, and then she's
not really.
And she's making a verbal, disgusting sound.
Okay, what would be the next? I think the next one you would be.
Yeah, but when do you get to the plant?
We're doing photos, and then you're changing into your suit.
Yeah.
So you combine all three, right? You combine and you're putting on your suit. You have a full towel rack. Then you're
like
my
the Michael
shoulder.
Scott. Like I wait for Sam to come in and pretend like she caught me changing, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of let him fall to the floor, and that's the ultimate test.
Okay.
When you let him fall to the floor, it's the ultimate test because you're telling her, you're like, I know. Do you know?
And then when we start taking, show photos, you like slowly put your arm on the lower back, on my lower back,
near
and
her
start
butt.
rubbing.
Yeah, near the butt.
The rub.
Yeah.
The rub.
It's a look. You're giving her like a Biden.
And then when you see me outside of the studio, which is a weird thing you do, you hug me. You never hug me any other time. And then you hug for a little longer. And start squeezing my breasts.
No, she does this hug. She does the out hug where she the concave hug where she takes her
and you smush me into you.
She takes her boobs and puts them back into her her body. But then what you do is you put full arm around her and you boof her into you.
You give me the old hug boof.
You forcing her. It's like you're steaming a piece of bamboo.
Yeah. Then I'll sniff your hair.
Real big, like a real big one.
And then I'll ask, did you just sniff my hair?
And then you'll wait until like we comes back around, and then you're handing out the Christmas cards and everything. Then we have to negotiate like her deal or whatever, and then purple pants to the ground, boom, belt to the ground, and then she's got a decision. Yeah, and then she's got a decision to make because you're using your influence of the company and being a boss to dictate whether or not she's going to get extra money.
And then you start you start doing the Timmy to me, but it's a picture of you.
Yes.
And you put it in my desk.
Little pictures of
and then
nude.
and then you laugh it away. Oh, it's just a prank. It's just a joke. But you're exposing yourself.
But it's actually yours.
Okay.
It's yours.
Yeah. Started. Okay.
You're normalizing.
Wait, don't write it down.
You see what you're doing? You're normalizing it around the workplace. So that way, when you do go
just a prank, bro.
Yeah, when you do go full purple pants to the ground and it's full towel rack and you're doing the
nobody
plant,
can take a joke anymore.
Yeah, because at that point it's too far gone. Can't put the genie in the bottle. Back in the bottle.
Whoa.
then when it's the plant time, do I?
And you are the plant man.
Yeah, I know. I'm a
Is that
little
why you
worried.
keep bringing me plants?
Do I say? I'm like,
you should check the soil.
I'm all out of breath.
Smells like fish.
I'm like, hey, you gotta look at it. So
I don't think you ask him to look at the plant. I think they just kind of get the gist of what you're doing.
Oh, okay, but
Yeah.
but
If I were, like,
if
I'd be like,
Sam
"Hey,
is
Dad."
looking at her computer,
Right.
I don't. Then it's
No, you get
it's
the
all
same
meaningless.
enjoyment. No, you get the same
Same?
enjoyment. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because she's in the room.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because like
I
what
thought
you're
they had
asking
to look
for,
at
no,
it.
what you're asking for doesn't exist. There are no women that do that. That's a fantasy.
Okay, all right.
That's a fantasy.
Yeah, they're just looking away.
Yeah, like no girl is gonna do that and be like, "Oh, I love it." This is
No,
so-"
no,
that's
no.
a fantasy.
Yeah.
They're all disgusting.
Yeah. They're just looking at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wall.
You're gonna have to like the
Yeah.
and when they're like, "Are you done?" and you're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "I'm out of here," and then they leave, and you're like, "It's as good as it gets." Right?
That's the apex
That's
of
the
what?
apex.
That's the best you're gonna get.
Do you think none
And
of
then
these?
you call me, and then you're like breathing heavy, and I know what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
Remember
yeah,
when he did
That's
that?
what he did. Yeah, he would call and he'd be like, "Would it be okay?" This is the part where I had to check out from the reading the Louis C.K. stuff. He would call and he'd be like, "Would it be okay if I just while we're on the phone?"
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the answer to that with anybody is no. It's not. It's absolutely not okay.
Oh, but he did ask.
He did it anyway, though.
What if he said no? What if
Well, that
he-
was the problem.
what if
Yeah,
he
that
said
was
no?
the problem.
The problem was he did it anyway.
He did the follow
Okay,
through.
what if I said no? So where are we going to lunch? I'm like, hold on, I can hear you.
I'm already doing it. I was doing it before I asked.
I knew it.
All right, bye-bye.